Good afternoon. I extend my gratitude and salutation to the Triple J, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, the most respected today chief guest, His Eminence, the Palga Rinpoche, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, Professor S.K. Mehta, the Dean, the faculty members, and dear students. As we all are aware, today we have been gathered here to see the blessings from the His Eminence, the eighth, the Palga Rinpoche. To begin with the program, I would like to request Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, Professor S.K. Mehta, to present memento and traditional kathak to His Eminence Palga Rinpoche. Sir. May I now request His Eminence Palga Rinpoche and Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor S.K. Mehta to light the traditional lamp to start the program, sir. Thank you so much. Before starting the session, may I request the IT in charge of the university to present the short video of the university to the audience, please.
वर्ष 2019 में भारत के प्रधानमंत्री ने केंद्र शासित प्रदेश लद्दाख के प्रथम विश्वविद्यालय लद्दाख विश्वविद्यालय का उद्घाटन किया, जो कि हिमालय के पार सबसे ऊंचाई पर स्थित विश्वविद्यालय है। यूनिवर्सिटी के 3 कैंपस, तारू कैंपस, लद्दाख कोंगा, कारगिल कैंपस, कुंभथांग सुरुबेरी और स्टकना कैंपस इंडस वैली के खूबसूरत वादी में स्थित है। 700 से ज्यादा लद्दाखी और अन्य राज्यों से आए हुए स्टूडेंट्स साइंस, ह्यूमैनिटीज, आर्ट्स, कॉमर्स, ट्रेवल एंड टूरिज्म, परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स के 28 पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन कोर्सेज में पढ़ रहे हैं। इसके अलावा स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, बहुत सारे सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स और पीएचडी प्रोग्राम भी चल रहे हैं।
At University of Ladakh, we get opportunity to learn and work as interns at various employers where we get hands-on and real-life work experience.
और सबसे पहले मैं ये समझती हूँ ये हमारे लिए एक बढ़िया चांस है कि हम अपने घर पे बैठ के पीजी कोर्स कर पा रहे हैं। हमें यहाँ पर वैसे ही बहुत सारे फैसिलिटीज़ मिलते हैं जैसे हमें बाहर की यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में मिलते हैं।
इसके अलावा इंटीग्रेटेड कंप्यूटर कोर्स और एग्रीकल्चर कोर्स भी शुरू किए गए हैं। लद्दाख के नौजवानों को रिसर्च के अवसर प्रदान करने के लिए यूनिवर्सिटी ने बहुत सारे सेंटर्स और इंस्टीट्यूट की स्थापना की है, जैसे ट्रांस हिमालयन स्टडीज, स्पेस साइंस, बायोडाइवर्सिटी रिसर्च, माउंटेन रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, ट्राइबल रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, स्टेट क्लाइमेट चेंज इत्यादि। यूनिवर्सिटी में नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के अंतर्गत स्किल डेवलपमेंट और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पर विशेष फोकस है। इन प्रयासों को भारत सरकार के विभिन्न मंत्रालयों से सहयोग मिला है।
Since I joined, I am very satisfied with the level of education I'm getting, the level of teaching professors and experience I'm getting from them. It is my heartfelt wish that my juniors would join and experience the same knowledge that I'm gaining.
Currently pursuing my PhD at National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute in Mohali. Gaining admission to this esteemed research institution was made possible thanks to the necessary involvement of Department of Botany, University of Ladakh.
In 2022, University of Ladakh started Forensic Science Department, and currently we are running the third batch. Our first batch got 100% placement, and we are hope to have more such placements in the near future.
तपसंगारिका एंथ्रोपोलॉजी हमको मास्टर ट्रेनिंग ले अगर कहते हो मुझे एंथ्रोपोलॉजी ना ट्रेन समझा तो एंथ्रोपोलॉजी एक तो स्कोप न्यू सब्जेक्ट जिन्होंने वाले तेरे हमको स्कोप ना पाओ के तेरे अगर एंथ्रोपोलॉजी ना हमको स्टाना का तो मैं प्रोफेसर गुंज कुन एक्सपर्ट जो क्या ले कुन माँ हमको रिसर्च जो क्या ले
I am pursuing my PhD from the Department of Computer Science, University of Ladakh. Research point of view से Department of Computer Science में जो फैसिलिटी सारे फैसिलिटीज़ अवेलेबल है यहाँ के फैसिलिटीज़ बाकी यूनिवर्सिटी की तरह स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट फैसिलिटीज़ हैं.
I have recently passed out from University of Ladakh with a degree of Master of Commerce and currently pursuing my PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. I have had a good learning experience at University of Ladakh. I have cracked UGC NET twice and GRF while studying there. We were given the opportunity to visit Gujarat University and Amul unit as a part of exposure tour. Moreover, visit to local industrial units was a routine part over there. For the future youth coming in the higher education, I must say, to embark on the journey of higher education, I urge you to consider the University of Ladakh.
यूनिवर्सिटी में स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट मॉडर्न क्लासरूम, लेबोरेटरीज, लाइब्रेरी, स्पोर्ट्स फैसिलिटीज, जिम्नेशियम, कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल, विंटर फ्रेंडली हॉस्टल, कैंटीन, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, डिस्पेंसरी और कैंपस बैंकिंग सुविधाएं उपलब्ध हैं.
मैं पहले अपना ग्रेजुएशन दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से करके आया हूँ. डिपार्टमेंट में हर एक फैसिलिटीज़ प्रोवाइडेड है. हमारे फैकल्टीज़ फ्रेंडली हैं. अभी तक का मेरा एक्सपीरियंस यहाँ पे अच्छा था, तो मैं एक्सपेक्ट करता हूँ और होप करता हूँ कि यहाँ पे डिपार्टमेंट में नए स्टूडेंट्स आएंगे.
Student, Hassan is like second home. Here is University of Ladakh. We get an environment just like home.
यूनिवर्सिटी ने 50 से ज्यादा इंटरनेशनल और नेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ एमओयू किया है, जिससे स्टूडेंट्स को दूसरे जगहों पर इंटर्नशिप और ट्रेनिंग करने का मौका मिलता है.
I, Prasad Soni from Department of Geology, went to India's premier institute, that is National Geophysical Research Institute of India in Hyderabad. We learned about many advanced and new techniques in the field of contemporary science. We also visited other important laboratories such as Indian Institute of Chemical Technology and International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials. In addition to these institutes, we experienced on-site open cast and underground coal mining in Ramamundam area. Also, we had a chance to visit Singareni thermal power plant in the state of Telangana.
50 करोड़ रुपए की रिसर्च ग्रांट जो कि सेंट्रल एजेंसी से मिली है, लद्दाख यूनिवर्सिटी एडवांस रिसर्च फैसिलिटीज को विकसित करने में कामयाब हुई है, जैसे स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन लेबोरेटरी, पर्स ग्रांट, आर्ट इनोवेशन स्कीम, इसरो का लामा प्रोजेक्ट एवं यूनिवर्सिटी फैकल्टी को मिली हुई रिसर्च ग्रांट्स.
Born as this, when the student in Ladakh seeking higher studies had to go outside Ladakh to pursue university degree. Now we have our own University of Ladakh, which caters to the demand of higher learning in Ladakh.
लद्दाख यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रेजुएट होने वाले स्टूडेंट्स को यूनिवर्सिटी में एडमिशन के लिए इनवाइट करती है. लद्दाख यूनिवर्सिटी ज्वाइन करके वर्ल्ड क्लास फैसिलिटीज से अपने करियर को आगे बढ़ाएं.
Thank you so much everyone for watching this video. May I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, Professor S.K. Mehta, to formally welcome His Eminence, Palga Rinpoche.
Very good afternoon and namaste to all of you. On behalf of University of Ladakh, I heartily welcome His Eminence, the Palga Rinpoche ji. It is indeed a special day for University of Ladakh and His Eminence Palga Rinpoche ji has accepted my request to visit University of Ladakh and shower his blessings to the faculty, students and everybody present. present here. I think there is a need for practice of spiritualism and simultaneously hard work, which is very much required for our students and faculty. And therefore, I will request and I'm looking forward to listening him something about meditation, these dark issues which have started prevailing in Ladakh, and vulnerability of our students, and particularly how this spiritualism will help our students. So I will end my brief words and looking forward is Eminence interaction and talk with all of us. And thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm extremely honored to introduce His Eminence Palga Rinpoche to this audience. Though in Ladakhi, we all are aware of His Eminence Palga Rinpoche work. He has been identified as a Tulku of the Rupa lineage at a very young age. At the age of 8 years, His Eminence Palga Rinpoche has been enthroned as one of the spiritual guru of the Rupa lineage by His Holiness Gyalwang Rupa Rinpoche. His Holiness, His Eminence Palga Rinpoche has attended his schooling from the Himachal Pradesh. After that, then he had seen the different extremes of our life, and currently he has been promoting this teaching on the spiritualism. His presence on social media has made very accessible to everyone, unlike other spiritual gurus. With this, I would like to request His Eminence Palga Rinpoche to share your wisdom, please.
I would like to thank the Vice Chancellor of University of Ladakh, Professor S.K. Itaji, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to visit this beautiful campus. I know you've been asking me to come for quite some time, but due to being very busy with my duties as a Rinpoche, as a spiritual guru, as some call it, I wasn't able to give my time. But just recently, 26th, day before yesterday, I got back from Pune, from Delhi, and then I made sure that this time I have some time to spend here at this beautiful campus. Before I start, I would like to say a small prayer, not a very long one, so don't worry. I'll start with a small prayer to start this session with prosperity, with auspiciousness, Tashispa. And then at the end, we will also do the dedication of any merit that we may accumulate. I request everybody to fold their hands in respect to Buddha Dharma Sangha or Almighty, whatever faith you believe in, whether you believe in Bhagwan, whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe in Christ, whether you believe in Buddha, it doesn't matter. You just hold your arms and you stay here, you sit here with me, and we pray together. I'll listen to prayers. course, I'm happy for all the students who attend universities, who pursue higher education in whatever field that they are interested in. But because the envy comes because of the introduction that Nalini, you just made, there is a small mistake in the introduction. I'm not at all educated. I went to London school until the second grade. All I remember is ABCD. I remember Kachu. There was a character named Kachu. He puts his glasses on the tip of his nose. So he used to say Kachu. He says, "Where are my glasses?" I remember Ramalinga. He was a very clever Brahmin, and he used to, to fool some thieves. He played some galan or something. I remember the story with the hare and the tortoise. That's it. Just some moral stories. What else? I remember playing with my schoolmates. I remember being extremely naughty, extremely short-tempered. I always tell my parents and I tell my friends that if His Holiness, my Guru, Gyalwant Trungpa, had not recognized me as Rinpoche and sent me to Himachal, to my monastery, I think I might have become maybe like a mafia or a gangster or something like that. A big criminal, I'm really sure. I was a very difficult child. They beat me a lot, but the more they beat me, the more aggressive I became. Anyway, looking at this campus fills me with awe, because I remember in London School, 1992, 1983, we had an L-shaped campus. That's it. We had walls made of very loose Ladakhi earth blocks, bamboo. You can basically make a hole with a compass. We used to have compass, which I've never used in my life, except to threaten the other kids. We used to make a hole in the wall, bamboo, so it's very thin wall. So you can make a hole within 1 hour, and you make a large enough hole so that you can exchange treats with the other students. For example, I would say, I will treat them. Do you have tutu? That small remote? Do you have tutu? Yes. Pass me the tutu in the hall. So it used to become our exchange, kind of a transaction point. It was like that. What did we have? We just had books. We used to sit down and choki, small benches, chokis. And to prevent the teachers from coming into the room, I used to line up the chokis with the opposite wall to stack them up to the door so the door could not be opened. And we would get an extra 10-15 minutes. Nothing. We had no instruments, we had no desks, we hardly had pens and paper. Most of the kids were very poor. My parents were also very poor. I never got a proper chance to study like you guys have. So that fills me with a great sense of envy. Not jealousy. I won't call it jealousy. Jealousy is negative, but kind of envy in a way like काश मुझे भी ये मौका मिलता आप लोगों की तरह पढ़ाई करने के लिए. I still have it. I think it's I always like to start with my talks by reminding everybody how lucky you all are that you saw in the video, you have hostels which are winter ready. Ladakh, we hardly can make our own bedrooms winter ready. Here you have hostels with capacities of tens of hundreds of students, all winter ready. And Vice was telling me, Vice Chancellor was telling me by next year maybe the capacity will go up to thousands. So you have great opportunity here. But the issue is that the late comers are usually it's very जो लोग लेट आते हैं ना उनका यही हाल होता है ये जगह भी मुश्किल से मिलते हैं progressed so much. I'll speak in Hindi and English mixed because we have faculties and students not only from the Ladakh but also outside. So please forgive me and don't accuse me of not upholding my own culture and heritage. Yeah? These days it's very difficult to even talk, you know. So the thing is that the world that we live in, what I mean to say is that the world we live in is very different outside Ladakh. And even within Ladakh, things are changing at such a great pace. It's very difficult to understand where we are going, how we are going, where we will end up. But I think right now, people, you know, sometimes people are very negative. So I give a lot of talks to people. I meet like thousands of people. Sometimes people are very negative, very pessimistic, and they say like, oh, nothing is good these days, everything is bad. There's an issue to पुराने ज़माने में अच्छा होता था, बचपन की याद आती है. तो बचपन में भी कुछ अच्छी चीज़ है, लेकिन आजकल भी तो बहुत अच्छी चीज़ें हैं ना. So why do we always have to remain in the past? Get stuck with the past. Why can't, you know, sometimes, why do we always remain in the future? The future with direction. Why, you know, I hope the future will be good. The present is the moment that we always complain. Even when our parents were young, they used to complain about the present moment. बिजली नहीं है, इंटरनेट का फोन नहीं है, पानी की सुविधा नहीं है. आजकल देखिए इंटरनेट का सुविधा कितना अच्छा है, बिजली की सुविधा कितना अच्छी है, और पानी की भी देखिए कोई समस्या आजकल बहुत कम है. तो इतना हम विकास कर चुके हैं. मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि समय हमेशा बदलते रहता है. Time always changes, and there are lots of solutions that come with advancement in time. तो उसकी रचना जब समय बदलता है तो सुविधाएं आती है, लेकिन समस्याएं नहीं बदलती. अभी मैं जी के साथ हम ऑफिस में बात करते हैं सर के साथ पानी के बारे में फॉर एग्जाम्पल. तो मैंने कहा, मैंने बहुत अच्छी चीज़ कही. मैंने कहा कि अभी देखिए हमारा जो पानी जल जीवन नाम का कोई वो चल रहा है, उसकी वजह से पानी आने की समस्या तो दूर हो चुकी है, जाने की समस्या कौन दूर करेगा? So that should mean that we have the facility of opening a tap like the cities in the rest of our country, and we have water readily available. Basically, it's like also 24 hours, at least in the region. If you put a geyser, you have also hot water. But then with that kind of solution, again there is a new समस्या. There is a new problem. That drainage system is not good enough. Our water is getting contaminated. Our earth is getting contaminated. Likewise, we were discussing that there are lots of waterborne diseases that we have never even heard of before, like typhoid. You know, this is a very common problem in Darjeeling, for example, where it's very rainy. Darjeeling, Arunachal, Sikkim, you know, that area it's a common problem because there's so much rainfall. There's so much like stained water lying everywhere. People there even advise you not to brush your teeth with the tap water. They say if you want to brush your teeth, use mineral water or boiled water. That level of contamination is there. So you got it. Now we are getting the contamination issues, waterborne diseases that we have never even heard of. Yeah? But we don't have the right solutions. So with time, as time changes, we get more and more advancements. Also the challenges increase. A place like university, it's a very important place where you find solutions to these kind of, problems, to these kind of issues. Where you have proper laboratories. I hope I get a chance to visit some of your laboratories. I saw in the photo, you seem to have such amazing equipments. Very modern equipments. Investment more than 50 crore rupees. I think उससे पहले तो लद्दाख पूरे लद्दाख में 50 करोड़ का खर्च आज तक नहीं किया होगा. एक यूनिवर्सिटी में 50 करोड़ का खर्च, they're spending that much. And you can create proper data. You can create proper data. It's not like कि ओ भगवान नाराज है, देवता नाराज है, इसलिए आज हमारा पानी जो है ना वो कम आ रहा है. नहीं होता. तो not everything is based on देवता है, भगवान. कब तक भगवान को दोष देते रहेंगे? मैं हमेशा लोगों से कहता हूँ ना, आजकल लोगों में एक बीमारी है. अगर हम छोटा से भी हमारी कोई उपलब्धि हम कुछ करते हैं, छोटा से भी काम करते हैं, तो कहते हैं कि मैंने किया, you need to do. अब हमारे ऊपर थोड़ा सा भी कष्ट आता है तो कहते हैं भगवान तो ये सब क्यों कर रहे हैं? अब मंदिर की गलती बचाने लगते हैं. तो भगवान को छोड़ो, खुद यहाँ पर रिसर्च करो, अपने दिमाग का इस्तेमाल, अपनी बुद्धि का इस्तेमाल करो, रिसर्च करो, स्टडी करो और इन समस्याओं का समाधान करो. Find solutions to these problems. That's why we have such a ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी। अभी स्कूल के बच्चे तो कर नहीं सकते हैं अभी क्योंकि वो छोटे लेवल पे स्टडी कर रहे हैं। अब आप लोग हाई लेवल पे पहुंच चुके हो ना, आप लोग पूरा रिसर्च और साइंस और पता नहीं किन किन फील्ड्स में आप लोग जा चुके हो, दैट यू कैन एक्चुअली मेक मीनिंगफुल इम्पैक्ट ऑन द वर्ल्ड। आपकी जो यहाँ पर आपका जो यहाँ पर काम चल रहा है उसकी वजह से यू हैव मीनिंगफुल विजिबल टैंजिबल रिजल्ट इन द वर्ल्ड, जिसकी वजह से हमारी जिंदगी में सुधार है। लद्दाख की जो पानी की समस्या है उसको कैसे दूर करें, लद्दाख में जो ड्रेनेज की समस्या है, जो पानी का जो कंटामिनेशन हो रहा है, पानी प्रदूषित हो रहा है, उन समस्याओं का समाधान कैसे निकालें। लद्दाख में देखिए अभी ओवर क्राउडिंग हो रही है, लेह एरिया में इतने सारे टूरिस्ट आ रहे हैं, हमारा जो नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज है वो बिल्कुल उसके ऊपर कैचअप नहीं कर पा रहे, उनका कैसे समाधान होगा। सो दिस काइंड ऑफ सॉल्यूशंस यू हैव टू फाइंड। यू कैन नॉट फाइंड अ सॉल्यूशन फॉर एग्जांपल अफ्रीका में क्या हो रहा है, जापान में क्या हो रहा है, अब वहाँ पर उनका समाधान निकालने वाले उनकी खुद की यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, उनके खुद के वहाँ पर स्कॉलर्स हैं, साइंटिस्ट हैं। लेकिन लद्दाख की जो अनोखी चुनौतियाँ हैं, वी हैव लाइक यूनिक प्रॉब्लम्स इन लद्दाख, उनका समाधान निकालने के लिए दैट्स व्हाट यू गाइस आर हियर। सो यू हैव अ गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी। आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू मेक यू aware of how fortunate you are. I could only study till Ramalinga and Kachu. You can study until water, हमारे जो पानी का जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको कैसे दूर करें. You can do so many great things. But obviously we are human beings, right? It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It doesn't matter how physically strong you are. It doesn't matter how famous you are, how learned you are. We are still human beings. Being human beings, we are very complex creatures. We are not simple. Like my dogs, Choco and Minnie. Okay, they're very cute, very small dogs, like Pomeranians. Choco and Minnie. Choco is brown, he's a boy. Minnie is a girl. Minnie is white. They're very cute. Choco is a little bit naughty. Minnie is very well behaved, very smart, very intelligent. They are simple creatures. I tell them, Choco, you want Jim Papa? Jim Papa. Swadish khana. It's a children view. Do you want Jim Papa? Choco goes, yes. He immediately turns his head. Very simple. You give him Jim Papa, he gets happy. You say Choco good boy, Minnie good girl, they become happy. Right? You scold them a little bit. यहाँ पर सुसु क्यों किया? क्यों भौंक रहे हो? Why you shouting at, barking at our visitors? जाकर भी बहुत सारे लोग दर्शन के लिए मिलने के लिए आते हैं. उनको बार करते जब लोग प्रणाम छाप करते उनके सर के ऊपर चढ़ के उनके बाल पूरा ऐसे वो लोग they don't bite तो नहीं करते, but just to show their this thing कि हम आपको we are guarding you. Very simple creatures, binary, 0 and 1. Human beings, we are not 0 and 1, we are like 0 and infinity. 0 to 0. We are not 0 to 1, we are 0 to 0, infinite to infinite. Our issues are so complex. बचपन में भी देखिए हमारे issues कितने होते हैं. लोग कहते हैं कि बचपन बहुत अच्छा होता था. बचपन कहाँ का अच्छा है? सब लोग एक थप्पड़ मारते जाते हैं, सब लोग कान खींचते हैं, सब लोग कहते हैं. अगर YouTube पे कोई कार्टून देखना तो वो देखने का भी हमारे पास अधिकार नहीं होता है. रात के 12 बजे तक अगर बैठ के कोई अगर अपना कोई कार्टून या कोई आप YouTube पे देखना चाहते हो वो देखने का भी आपके पास वो नहीं होता है. 10 बजे 9 बजे सोना होता है, सुबह उठना होता है, स्कूल जाना होता है, स्कूल जाके फिर 1-2 बजे वो भी कोई झापड़ा आपको फ्री में मार देते हैं. समस्या कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है कि दुनिया क्या चीज़ है. दुनिया को समझने के लिए 20-25 साल तो उसी में लग जाते हैं और खुद को समझने के लिए पूरा हमारा जीवन लग जाता है. So everything is very complex. As human beings, satisfaction is, I think, never guaranteed. हमारी दुनिया इतना एडवांस कर चुका है. अभी जेब में हम पूरा विकिपीडिया गूगल को लेकर हम घूमते हैं. अगर किसी के बारे में भी अभी देखना होगा, if you want to read about anybody, अगर मेरे बारे में अगर आपको थोड़ा सा देखना होगा, you open the Google, Wikipedia, Instagram, whatever, मेरे बारे में आपको पता चलता है. If you want to know about why does the sun rise in the east, why does the sun set in the west, why is the sun, the daytime is shorter in the winter, why is the daytime longer in the summer, again, everything, all the answers here, within 5 inches. But इतना advanced कर चुके हैं, but our selves, हमारी जो personalities, our selves, उसको self कहते हैं, personality नहीं कहते हैं, that hasn't advanced. हमारी समस्या वही क्यों नहीं है? अभी भी अगर कोई हमसे अच्छी तरह से बात करता है, अच्छा लगता है. अभी भी अगर कोई हमें डांटता है तो लगता है बचपन को जो झापड़ है वो अब हमें याद आता है. उससे भी ज़्यादा दुख हमें होता है, you know. तो some solutions we can find, some solutions, you know, some solutions we can find by doing this kind of research, by scientific advancements. But some solutions we only find by, जैसे सर जी ने कहा था, spiritualism. By looking inwards. Some solutions you can find by looking outwards. फिलोसफर्स ने बाहर की तरफ खोज करके, रिसर्च करके, मैदान में जाके, क्षेत्रों में जाके, पूरा सब कुछ अध्ययन करके, टीम बना के, प्रॉपर डेटा रिसर्च के थ्रू, माइक्रोस्कोप के थ्रू, पता नहीं आपके साथ, आपके पास किन तरह के उपकरण हैं, इतने सारे आविष्कार हैं, उनके जरिए आप जान सकते हो. Some solutions you can find. But these kind of eternal problems, ego, greed, attachment, anger, unhappiness, sadness, depression, आजकल की नई समस्याएं हैं, वो भी उसी का एक भाग ही है, अनसेटिस्फैक्शन का भाग ही है. डिप्रेशन का एक और शब्द है एंजाइटी, है ना. आप उसके सेल्फ के बारे में जानेंगे, लो सेल्फ एस्टीम, लो सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस, लो दिस, लो दैट, उन सब का समाधान कैसे निकलते हैं? बाहर से नहीं निकलेगा, अंदर से निकलेगा. That is what is Adhyatmika, spiritualism. That is what we call spiritualism. That is something that we will discuss today. Okay, I won't speak too long. I want to speak for maybe 5 more minutes, and then I want everybody to ask me questions today. Because मैं हमेशा यही चाहता हूँ, मेरे जाने के पश्चात आप लोगों को आज का दिन थोड़ा सा याद रहे. आप लोगों को जो यहाँ पर 1-2 घंटे हम बिताएंगे, उसका कोई आपको लाभ होगा. मैं आपसे कुछ सीखूंगा, आपके प्रश्न कभी-कभी बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, मैं भी आपसे सीखता हूँ, आप भी मुझसे थोड़ा सा सीख के चलो. तो एक दूसरे से सीखे, लेकिन वो तभी होता है जब इंटरेक्शन होता है. मैं यहाँ से कुछ भगवान के बारे में, धर्म के बारे में कुछ कहते जाऊँगा, मेडिटेशन के बारे में, अंत में मेडिटेशन करेंगे, एट द एंड वी विल डू मेडिटेशन. और आई प्रेफर इंटरैक्टिव सेशंस, कि आप लोग हाथ में माइक पकड़ के यू आस्क योर ओन पर्सनल क्वेश्चंस. उतना भी पर्सनल नहीं कि लोग आपको, यू नो, पीपल विल लाइक, यू नो, मेक फन ऑफ यू. थोड़ा सा बैलेंस में, अगर इतना पर्सनल है तो आप कह सकते हो कि मेरा कोई दोस्त है, या दोस्त का दोस्त है, काम में रहता है, छोटा किसका बर्थडे बेटा, उससे बर्थडे चलता है. कल तो आप किसके बर्थडे में गए थे, किसके बर्थडे में जाने, मान वो तो मेरा छोटा था, आज छोटा दोस्त का दोस्त, साथी का साथी. अच्छा, परसों तो गए थे, कल भी गए थे, आज किसके बर्थडे में जाने, छोटा. ऐसा मैं उसको भी इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूँ. ये छोटा शेड्यूल, उसका कुछ ऐसा समाधान है, समस्या है, छोटा शेड्यूल. अगर ज़्यादा शर्म आए, बहुत शर्मीले है तो फिर छोटा आप लोग पूछ सकते हो. तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि अभी बस कुछ शब्दों में आप इस तरह की इंटरैक्टिव सेशन करें. लेकिन मैंने भी जिंदगी में, आप लोगों को लगता होगा ऋषि को क्या पता, वो तो जन्म से मंदिर में बैठा है ना. ऋषि ने तो हमारी तरह स्ट्रगल नहीं किया. ऋषि को क्या पता पॉकेट मनी क्या चीज़ होती है स्कूल के समय में. ऋषि को क्या पता बुरी क्या चीज़ होती है. ऋषि को क्या पता पीयर प्रेशर क्या होता है, पीयर प्रेशर. ऋषि को क्या पता एडल्ट का जो हमारे जो माँ बाप हैं उनका जो प्रेशर एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या होता है. ऋषि को क्या पता डिप्रेशन क्या है. ऋषि को क्या पता हार्ट ब्रेक क्या है. ऋषि को क्या पता जॉन्डिस क्या है, सर दर्द क्या है. यू नो ऑल दिस थिंग्स मुझे सब कुछ पता है. बिकॉज आई 8 साल की उम्र तक लद्दाख में रहा. बचपन में लद्दाख में थोड़ा नहीं देखा, ठीक है. 1-2 झापड़ मैंने भी खाए, 1-2 झापड़ मैंने भी दिए. मेरे पिताजी कहते थे, क्योंकि मेरे पिताजी बहुत ही वो थे, एक्टिव थे पहले, एलबीए में उन्होंने बहुत बड़ा योगदान है. लद्दाख का जो यूटी का संघर्ष हुआ था ना 1989 में, माय फादर वाज वन ऑफ द मेन फाइटर्स फॉर लद्दाख पीस एसोसिएशन. तो मेरे पिताजी बहुत लड़ाकू थे, ही वाज अ ग्रेट फाइटर, ही न्यू ऑल द टेक्निक्स. तो मुझे जब भी कोई बड़ा लड़का मुझे मेरी पिटाई करता था, आई यूज्ड टू आस्क माय फादर. देखिए कल जो जिसको मैंने वापस जवाब दिया वो तो मेरे कट का था, उसको तो मैंने हरा दिया. लेकिन यू नो आज जिसने मुझे मारा, जिसकी वजह से मेरा गाल सूजा हुआ है, वो मुझसे काफी ऊंचा है. उसका नाम ही सिंगे का मतलब शेर. सीरियसली ऐसा था मेरे दोस्त सिंगे जिराची को. वो उस वक्त में टीसी में मैंने कुछ महीने बिताए. हम लोग ने 2 साल किसी भी स्कूल में कुछ महीने, उसके बाद फिर जवाहर सर सुनो हिमाचल. तो मैंने कहा नाम भी सिंगे. पहले तो आपने जो बताया कि जो स्टूडेंट्स थे वो थोड़े छोटे लगते होते, उनको तो मैं ठीक ठाक मारता था. अभी कुछ मैं टीसी में पहुंचा, ये टिकाची जो होते हैं वो बहुत हटे लगते होते हैं, मारते बहुत जोर से मारते हैं, आवाज से कुछ ना गाते, जब वो मारते कुछ डर भी थोड़ा ज्यादा होता है. नाम भी इतना डरावना है, देखने में भी इतना डरावना है. तो मैंने पिताजी से पूछा उनको कैसे मैं पराजित करूँ. तो पिताजी ने कहा चाहे जितना भी हो पैर पकड़ के उसको जब वो जमीन पे गिरेगा उसकी छाती के ऊपर चढ़ो, फिर उसको जितना मार सके तो फिर आपसे नीचे बोला. also went through the internal turmoil of, what do you call it, of adulthood, of change in the body. जब teenage होता है हमारा, हमारे अंदर इतने सारे hormonal changes आते हैं, कुछ पता नहीं चलता है. कभी कभी बैठे बैठे गुस्सा आता है, कभी कभी बैठे बैठे दुख होता है, कभी कभी बैठे बैठे आपको लगता है कि बस दुनिया में कुछ कोई अच्छी चीज नहीं है. कभी कभी छोटी छोटी चीजों पर इतना खुश होते हैं कि जैसे पागल बन चुके हो. It's literally like this, no? I have been through. ये जोड़ने के लिए जा चुका हूँ. Puberty के जो समय होते हैं. You don't know. Your body is changing, no? You don't know. Like, there's so much. I've also been through that. उसके बाद then what? When I was 18, 19, I went to UK. I wanted to see the world. क्योंकि the thing was that जब मैं monastery में था, when I was in the monastery, I knew who I was as a Rinpoche, right? जो Rinpoche in 8th reincarnation, Drupal lineage, ये सब लोगों ने मुझे खूब सिखाया. मुझे पता था as a Rinpoche who I am, but who I am as a person. got it? ये मेरी एक अनोखी चुनौती थी. So to find that, to discover myself, to know myself as a person, I got out of my gilded cage, golden cage, and I went to Europe. I lived there like a normal person. I also did jobs. मैंने भी job किया. I did so many different kinds of jobs. मैंने भी पैसे कमाए jobs की वजह से. I also had anxiety at the end of the month. How will I pay my rent? I also had all these issues. I have seen people taking drugs. Research drugs के बारे में बात कर रहे थे. I had so many friends committing suicide, crashed their cars. I remember one guy, Bruno, Brazilian guy, very good looking, handsome. Yeah? He loved driving fast cars. He used to drive very fast. तो मुझे पता नहीं था उस वक्त वो नशा करता है. मुझे क्या पता. तो हम कभी घूमने के लिए जाते थे. तो एक दिन मुझे न्यूज़ आया कि ब्रूनो अपने गाड़ी को रेस कर रहा था. वो संतुलन से बाहर चला गया और किसी दीवार में लग गई and he became completely paralyzed. Seriously, 19 years old, very old था. I was 18, 19. He became completely paralyzed. And he was on his bed. He could move his eyes. His body was completely fixed in close to metal. No, keep it like that. And I want to meet him. And he just looked at me and he smiled and he just said tears coming out. That's it. Yeah, like that's because of drugs, addiction, bad habits. और तो वो भी मैंने अपनी आंखों से देखा है. उसका क्या हाल होता है. उसके बाद फिर थोड़ा सा वापस आया और भी चुनौतियाँ. Adulthood. How do you let go? How do you stop being a boy? How do you assume your responsibilities as a man, as a grown-up man? अभी भी देखिए ना, बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं. अभी भी देखिए बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं. They are like they still can't grow up. Mentally they are still like a child. Mentally they are still like a child. They still हमें पहुंचा गुज़ूज़ दे, अभी को गुज़ूज़ दे. They still like literally their mindset is like a child. So we have so many issues, so many struggles. बाहर से struggle अलग सा है, expectation अलग सा है, खुद का struggle होता है, expectation होता है. It's like living with different people in the same room. When you share a room with like 3-4 people, everybody has their own region. खाना खाने का, some people don't like non-veg, some people are completely veg, some people are veg but then they are vegan, some people are like they eat almost anything. सबकी समस्या होती है. इनका धर्म अलग है. बेड के ऊपर जो 4 लोग बैठे, एक हिंदू है, एक मुसलमान है, एक बुद्धिस्ट, एक क्रिश्चियन है. सबके बिलीफ अलग अलग होते हैं. It's such a unique world. Also, the problems are also multifaceted. I also struggle a lot trying to find answers. Maybe like even if you ask me, Rinpoche, where did you grow up? बड़े कब बने? I think maybe 3-4 years ago. That's it. I was also like it took me a long time to understand myself. Once you understand yourself, you gain a sense of control and confidence. Then you stop caring about what people think, what people say. एक तो लोग क्या कहते हैं, लोग क्या सोचते हैं, लोग क्या सुनाते हैं, बस हमें उसके ऊपर विचार करना होता है. एक तो ऊपर का अपना जो माता पिता है, उनकी तरफ से अलग सा प्रेशर. बेटे को इंजीनियर बनना ही है, चाहे बेटे को केवल तंबूरा बजाने का शौक हो, नाचने गाने का शौक हो, रील्स बनाने का शौक हो, नहीं वो इन्फ्लुएंसर नहीं बनेगा, वो यूट्यूब पे नहीं जाएगा, उसको तो इंजीनियर बनना ही है. तो आप पानी में कैसे बदलेगा? आप पानी में कैसे बदलेगा? पानी आग में कैसे बदलेगा? So everybody has their own karma. We have our own skill, talents. So I understand there's so much pressure. I also meet with a lot of youth. कभी-कभी आप लोगों का फोन आता है मुझे 2 बजे, 1 बजे सुबह के, इंस्टाग्राम पे मैसेज आता है, मुझे डिप्रेशन है. I feel like I want to kill myself. Chandigarh, I'm in Bangalore, whatever. अभी तक तो लद्दाख यूनिवर्सिटीज में किसी का फोन नहीं है। मुझे लगता है सब बहुत संतुष्ट हैं सर जी के नेतृत्व में और यहाँ पर इतने अच्छे आपके फैसिलिटीज अच्छे हैं। लद्दाख जगह इतनी खुशी वाला माहौल है कि हमारे समस्या like we have less issues than the rest of the country. So I get these calls sometimes and it's very difficult. तो मैं क्या कहूँ? वो रो रही है या रो रहा है, उसका हार्ट ब्रेक हुआ है, उसका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्कुल नहीं, उसको पता नहीं किस चीज़ का डिप्रेशन है, वो खुल के नहीं बताता, फोन पे कौन बताएगा? तो वो कहता है कि मुझे मंत्र बता दो जिसकी वजह से मेरी समस्या दूर हो जाए। ऐसा कोई मंत्र नहीं होता ना, ऐसा कोई मंत्र नहीं होता। So it's very difficult. Don't think like only you have the problems as it goes. I also have to handle so many things. So don't think like to be here to shoot क्या बता, what does he know about your issues? I know exactly about your issues. I know the kind of heartbreaks you have had. I can imagine the kind of depression sometimes you must be feeling. I can imagine sometimes feeling lost in a great plane. थम जीवन पास्तों का सोना कोई अंधा अगर किसी बड़े मैदान पे खो जाता है तो वो कितना अपने आप को खोया हुआ महसूस करता होगा। उसको क्या फर्क होता है? I know sometimes you feel like that. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and think like, what is the point of all this? Really? Because we have this spirit, we have this consciousness, we have this awareness. You sometimes come up with questions which you never thought were possible. You come up with, we can come up with very deep philosophical questions. मैं कौन हूँ? मैं क्या हूँ? मैं यहाँ पर क्या कर रहा हूँ? क्या कर रही हूँ? मेरा इस धरती पे क्या काम है? What is my work? So we come up with these kind of very unique questions. So the answer to these kind of questions is through spirituality. It's through looking inwards. And there are so many different levels to spirituality, even within Buddhism. In Islam, we have their own beautiful way of teaching about spiritualism. In Hinduism, we also have this beautiful way of teaching about spiritualism. Likewise in Christianity. I have friends everywhere. Hindu धर्म में मेरे बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं, Christian मेरे बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं, है ना? Islam में like one of my best friend, Nasir, he's like my brother. मेरे बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं. Recently when I was meeting him in Pune, he's coming here on 12th. He's such a lovely guy. But he's a proper Muslim. पांच बार नमाज करता है, proper Muslim. But we go beyond religion. Got it? We can connect at a very deep level. I appreciate it. मैं उसकी सुनता हूँ, वो मेरी सुनता है. That is the approach we need to take in this world. अभी देखें यहाँ पर कुछ लोग उनके बाल खुले हैं, कुछ लोग गोदम अपने हेड को कवर किए हुए हैं, कुछ मुझे हिंदू समाज के लगते हैं, कुछ मुझे अपने बुद्धिस्ट के लगते हैं, कुछ इस्लाम से लगते हैं, कुछ क्रिश्चियन हैं, कुछ लोग अपने लद्दाख से हैं, यहीं से आते हैं, कुछ लोग शायद बाहर से आते होंगे। मैंने सर ने कहा था कि बाहर से मैं यहाँ पर भी कुछ अपने फैकल्टीज और अपने विद्यार्थी यहाँ पर हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं। So we have to go beyond religion. We have to, that's a complete, different topic, but we have to learn to live with each other. Yeah. There's so many things that I want to share. That's why I'm not able to structure my speech right now. So many things, because I can understand the kind of situations that sometimes you go through. Anyway, so I would like to give the mic. Are people listening? Okay? So just ask me questions one by one. I would like this to be more of an interactive session, okay? And then we can go deeper into this. Thank you. Students or young people are really older than that. So I would ask one of the faculties to maybe ask one question, then we can slowly take it. बाद में जब मजा आता है तो बस क्वेश्चन खत्म ही हो गया। मुझे जाना पड़ता है और जाके गाड़ी के पास आते हैं, मुझे पहले क्वेश्चन मेरे पास भैया आपने अंदर क्यों नहीं पूछा? तो शर्म आ रही है।
Once again, so the reason for this Eminence which appears in many podcasts, videos, and recently he has gone to Lonavala yoga, we do not keep things secret. So I just want to understand what the secret means in the Buddhism yoga. Thank you.
Thank you, Len. How old are you?
No, I'm 43.
42. So you're elder than me. Younger, no? I think I know word, no? Seriously. Much more handsome and looks more dashing than I think. I was in Canada, lovely place. They just celebrated their centenary Shatabdi anniversary, founded by Swami Kulananda. Lovely place, and I had such an amazing time there. बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे वहाँ पर. सभी धर्म के लोग वहाँ पर थे और बहुत अच्छा मुझे वो लगा. योग के बारे में ये कहूँगा, अब देखिए सभी धर्मों का जो योग का जो अभ्यास है, because yoga is universal. Nobody can honestly claim that yoga belongs to this religion or that religion. ठीक है? Yoga, I think, is one of the most purest forms of spirituality, right? And when we think of yoga, thanks to plastic yoga, I call them plastic yoga, right? एक plastic के साथ makeup के साथ, with beautiful makeup, with very plastic lycra, spandex, plastic का जो tights होते हैं वो पहन के, एक plastic पेट के नीचे, plastic lighting के साथ, plastic Instagram का जो फोटो होता है, उससे हमें लगता है कि this is yoga. You know what I mean? है ना? Instagram में दिखता हो ऐसा म्यूजिक बजा के पेट के नीचे सुंदर सी लड़की, अभी भी कोई मोटी लड़की और मोटा लड़का कोई नहीं करता. Has to be like a perfect six packs वाला लड़का या लड़की, ठीक है? वो ऐसे नहीं करके आराम से योगा कर रहा हो तो पता नहीं उल्टा नीचे बोल कर रहा हो. So we think this is yoga, right? But actually I think that yoga is so universal that it's very difficult to even define. अभी हमारा जो वहाँ पर सेमिनार होता तो we usually attribute yoga to Patanjali, right? It came from Patanjali. But then some people say that yoga is even older than that. It is actually such a universal, ancient tradition that is difficult to pinpoint. Likewise, yoga practiced in different religions are also practiced differently. In Buddhism, in Himalayan Buddhism, what we practice in the Himalayan region, right? Because some people call it Tibetan Buddhism, which is not actually correct. Because Tibet is a country. Then you have Ladakh, which was a different kingdom. Bhutan, which is a separate kingdom. Sikkim, which was a separate kingdom. Nepal is still a complete country. Used to be a very unique kingdom. Likewise, you have all these kingdoms. You have Arunachal, you have so many areas around the Himalayas. So the Buddhism that was practiced, also you have Mongolia. So many different regions, Russia also, like so many. This belt, Buddhism, the main the main tradition of Buddhism that we practice is Vajrayana Buddhism, right? In Vajrayana Buddhism, you have different sects. In Himalayan Buddhism, you have different sects. For example, you have Nirupa sect, the leader of which is His Holiness the 14th Dalai, right? Then you have Jigumpa sect, which belongs to the Kagyu tree. Then the head of which is Jigun Tagore, right? Then you have His Holiness Gyalpo Trungpa, head of Trungpa lineage, also Lama Satsang, right? Then you have, for example, Nyingma sect. So in the Trungpa sect, especially the Kagyu sect, Karma Kagyu, Trungpa Kagyu, Jigun Kagyu, then you have like Shampa Kagyu, Tamang Kagyu, so many small other Kagyus. Some traditions are now very much alive, some are slowly getting less and less. We practice what we call mainly not unique to Kagyupa, but we practice what we call the 6 yogas of Naropa. And there are some other yogas that we practice. Now the question was that, why do we keep it a secret? It is like, how should I put it? Okay, when I was young, the first vehicle I had, vehicle, it was Tobu cycle. You know Tobu cycle? We used to call it Tobu cycle. 3 wheels, complete plastic. Yeah? एक रेड कलर का छोटा सा हमें साइकिल मिलता था. It's a tricycle. Yeah? हम उसको टोबू साइकिल कहते थे. वो लेने मिलता था. सस्ता वाला एक सीट, महंगा वाला 2 सीट के साथ. तो 2 सीट में अपने सिस्टर दावा को बिठा के we used to do riding. That was my first vehicle. अगर बच्चे को टोबू साइकिल से लेकर, मोटरसाइकिल से लेकर, ऑल्टो से लेकर, आस्ते एक मर्सिडीज तक, फॉर्च्यूनर तक, फेरारी तक ले जाते हैं, तो उसको चला सकते हैं. एक छोटे बच्चे को सीधा उठा के अगर हम सीधा फरारी में डालते हैं, लैम्बोर्गिनी में डालते हैं, फॉर्च्यूनर में डालते हैं, तो उसका ऑफ रोड इतना जबरदस्त होगा कि वो कभी खत्म नहीं होगा। इतना अच्छा वो ऑफ रोडिंग करेगा फॉर्च्यूनर में कि वो उसका ऑफ रोडिंग खत्म नहीं होगा। दैट इज द सेम प्रिंसिपल। सो वी डोंट कीप इट सीक्रेट बिकॉज वी आर ग्रीडी। We don't keep it secret because you have to pay extra money. We don't keep it secret because that, you know, we look at like, oh, which family are you from? Wow, how much money do you have? Are you famous or not? How much money do you take? For us, we look at everybody as equal. There is a unique perspective of Buddhism. Seksha Pancha, that's it. For us, the entire universe, this is one thing I shared in Kevaleda that I asked everybody to remember. In many other traditions, in spiritual traditions, religions, whatever, they usually think of their community as the universe. They think of their community as the universe. Then we get what they call siege mentality. Siege mentality. Siege mentality is like us against them. उसी से भेदभाव होता है, उसी से conflict होता है. Buddhism has a very unique perspective where we see the whole world as our community. Right? We don't think of anybody as lower or higher. So we don't keep the teaching secret because we are, you know, we want something extra. उसकी वजह से नहीं है. We keep the teaching secret because even though physically, educationally, you may be mature, right? But spiritually, sometimes we're immature. We can hardly handle our own ego, which can be extremely devastating. Ego is one of the biggest problems we face on the journey towards, you know, on spiritualism. हमारा जो अहंकार ego होता है ना, that is the biggest. ego क्या होता है? उसका मैं बहुत अच्छा आपको I'll give you a very simple example. अभी मान के चलो किसी ने आपको गाली दी, somebody said something to you, और गाली भी like not a very general गाली, it was a very personal गाली. आपके धर्म को लेकर, आपकी जात को लेकर, आपकी दिखाव को लेकर, how you look, है ना, आपकी बोली को लेकर, अगर किसी ने आपको इस तरह का कोई discriminatory गाली दी, आपसे रहा नहीं जाएगा. आपके अंदर से एक आवाज आएगा कि उसको भी गाली दो, उसको मारो. That is what we call ego. So even though people may look mature physically in terms of age, that's why I asked you your age, 42, right? 42, 43. 43. Your smile is still 16. Yeah? Sometimes our spiritual age is like टोटू साइकिल के बच्चे वाले. अब उनको अगर फिराने बिठाते हैं, they will only hurt themselves. That is why we keep it secret. Gradually, from one row. So we start with Mahamudra practices. Okay? Mahamudra means you have the common Mahamudra practices, then you have the extraordinary Mahamudra practices. Tumo Mahipa. Right? Tumo, the common practices are more philosophical, theoretical practices. It starts with contemplating on the precious human body. That is also yoga. Contemplation on the precious human body. That is also yoga. Contemplation on impermanence. Also yoga. Contemplation on samsara being a very futile place, right? Full of suffering. So, and contemplating also on last week the karma, the four renunciation. So we start like that. Then once a person has a good understanding of the philosophy, that we are careful that the person, when we give them the higher teachings, the person, it won't boost the person's ego, won't cause self-harm. Then we give the higher teachings. So that is the main reason. That is the main reason. That's it.
My question is related to my challenge
it's a very modern issue that everybody is facing, not only Ladakh, but even in Pune, Manatra, Mumbai, Delhi. It's become a universal, it has always been a universal problem. You know, because it's a huge problem. It's not very unique to students. Even some of the teachers, some of the elders, they also suffer with so much mental problems. And we diagnose them differently. We use different words. But sometimes when I meet somebody, I can see patterns of schizophrenia. Or Rinpoche, I can see somebody very scary. Every time I close my eyes, and then we just think like, okay, that person is crazy or timid or puzzled. You know what I mean? We use different ancient languages. But in the modern technology, people are suffering from bipolar diseases, people are suffering from extreme low level of self-esteem, self-confidence, people are suffering from self-doubt, people are suffering from depression, which is it's a very modern issue, no? I think I also suffer from depression when I was young. I also suffer from anxiety. Now, this is a very common question that you ask me. How do we deal with it? Because it's a universal question. No, it's not unique to Ladakh. As a teacher, I would advise you to always be there for the students, right? Because they, see, are there any parents here? No parents, right? In one way or the other, whether you're day scholars or whether you're living in hostel here full time, we have kind of, renounced. In the same way, we become monks, and we go to the monastery, renunciation, tyagana. In the same way, you've kind of sort of renounced your family, your father and your mother, right? Not intentionally, but unintentionally, you've kind of renounced. This is kind of like a monastery for you guys. This is a monastery for higher education, advanced education. So the problems are very similar. What I would say is there are no parents here. And as human beings, it doesn't matter how old we are, whether you're 40-year-old like me, whether you're 42-year-old like Jimmy, whether you are a young person, an old person, because we grew up, the first thing we ever saw was our mother's smile, was our father's touch. The first thing we tasted was our mother's milk. The first thing we felt was the embrace and the touch of our parents. If we were lucky enough to have our father, at least. Sometimes there's no father, father is passed away or something, That's the first interaction we've had. So it stays with us. Even now, even the gods, if you look at it, in many faiths, even the gods, we have humanified them as father and mother. Mata and mother. You know what I mean? Oh Father, bless us. You understand? We have this attitude towards even gods as human beings, as our parents. We are looking for parents everywhere. We always need our parents, whether you agree or not. Because we grew up with that. That's our first memory. That is our most profound memory. Even these children, they need parents. But their parents are not here. Sometimes when they look at an elder, especially a teacher, a professor, a lecturer, they will try to find them, not consciously, subconsciously, they're looking for the parents. So I would say, आपके अंदर की जो ममता है, उसको लेकर आप उनसे, you treat them. Just give them a hug. Talk to them nicely, one-on-one. Just listen to them sometimes. Sometimes they just don't want to be judged. These days, youngsters are very scared of being judged. That's usually what we get, no? That's why we don't share. If we share, we get scolded, we get criticized. Tell them, you love son. ये सिखाया क्या आपको? ये है, ये सिखाता आपको तरफ, आपको बैकग्राउंड. लोग क्या कहेंगे? बस तो हम अपने को बंद कर देते हैं. आजकल एक बहुत अनोखी समस्या है लोगों में. ये केवल is not limited to students. We don't explode. Exploding is healthy, I'm telling you. Exploding is healthy. You're letting out your frustration, just shouting, no. Go to the top of Palga mountain, just shout, scream. Bang your fist on the sand. That is healthy. उसके बाद थोड़ा सा वो बना के वापस आ जाए. नहीं तो लोग पागल समझ के फिर वापस आपको पार ले लीजिए. पागल तो लड़की वहाँ चिल्ला रहा था, लड़का वहाँ चिल्ला रहा था. अभी देखो डैड की तरह आ रहा है. मुझे तो लगता है जरूर कोई टिपो उसको वापस they will send you back. No. Explosion is healthy. These days the biggest problem is implosion. what is implosion? जो अंदर explode होता है, that is scarier. इतना सबसे इकट्ठा होकर वो एक विस्फोटक बॉम्ब जैसा बन जाता है. एक दिन बिना कुछ भी कहे आपका नर्वस ब्रेकडाउन होता है. अब गिर जाता, आपको पता नहीं चला why you crying incontrollable. भगवान ना करे उस वक्त अगर कोई आपका रिलेशनशिप या कोई सी मनी प्रॉब्लम या कोई होगा, that will protect even more. Yeah, implosion, explosion, सब एक साथ. You know, really, it's very. You don't know why you're crying. You know, people are telling you not cry. Okay, you know you shouldn't cry, but I'm not saying that. No, you just can't explain this. Just don't know. You have collected all these emotions. No? For that, you don't need a guru. For that, you don't need any mantra, tantra, any religious advice. You just need a mark and mukta. Pita ka pyar. So sometimes the teachers have to treat their students like the children. Those are side milakar. You should know that what happened. No, what happened. Just talk to them. They just want to let go of this thing. That is very healthy. That is very healthy. And try to never don't judge. Remember that these are also human beings. They have their own habits. What are we? We are Chalka Filka Putra of habits. You know, that's it. We are a walking statue, puppet of habits. We form so many habits. Right? We form so many. Some people blink very fast, some people don't blink at all. Some people take their air, some people take their nose. You know? Some people just, even drinking water, they burp. Some people even khā karke tabhi digar nahi marte. You know, we have such weird habits. Some people have habit of scratching, some people have habit of sitting nicely, some people have habit of dangling their feet while they stay sitting. Some people when they sit, even when to puja, this is habit, no? You know, डम्बल के हाथ से बजा के पैर से बजा रहे. I'm just giving a small example. We are very unique in that way because our intelligence is almost limitless. And limitless intelligence, it's also very dangerous. जिसमें कहा था, कुत्तों की समस्या 0 और 1 होता है. Very simple, the zeros and ones. हमारी समस्या infinite to infinite होती है. We create our own समस्या. बैठे समस्या का हम एक नया बना देते हैं. You know, if you put somebody in an empty room, okay, I've never tried this, but because I spent 3 years and 3 months in a small room in Ladakh, yeah, when I was in retreat, in a small, कितना था, 10 by, मुश्किल से 10 by 8 होगा, मुश्किल से 10 by 10 होगा, एक छोटा सा, वो भी उसका कोई दीवार नहीं था, पक्कू वाले दीवार नहीं था, इसकी तरह दीवार नहीं था, प्लाईवुड का, है ना, दार्जिलिंग में से नहीं बताया, 3 साल 3 महीने, you sit in a small room, और उसके अतिरिक्त I spent 2 years extra, 6 months here, 6 months there. In total, maybe I spent like 5-6 years of my time being alone. Even now, I'm almost always alone. My sister Tawa, she's in her own room. Amali, she's in her own room, doing her own practice, doing whatever she. I'm in my own room. Kind of like a retreat. So when you put somebody alone, then you realize how powerful the mind is. We create new problems. You know. We have this capacity to create new realities. We convince ourselves that what you think is real, and we impose it. I mean, like, it's incredible. So I can also imagine how much students have. Unki bhi samasya must be incredible, must be unique. So that's why there is no one pill for everything. Yeah? There is no one silver bullet to cure everything. That is why every solution has to be addressed individually. That's my best advice. Today, for example, I'm here for like hardly 2 hours. I mean, 2 घंटों में आप सबकी एक किसे सुनो, right? But at least you are here, the faculty, starting from Vice Chancellor sir, and you have Manley, knowledge, you have your own setup here. So you have unique responsibility, not only of teaching and guiding the students, but also of looking after them from a human perspective. That is, I think, the spiritualism that should be practiced in the university. The moment we start thinking of ourselves only as a teacher, as a lecturer, as a teacher, I think that's where spiritualism stops. Because teaching usually comes from the brain. Teaching comes from the brain, from the intellect. Teaching doesn't come from the heart. Very few teachers, I can say, they teach from the heart. But if you understand that these children are not robots, they cannot get up at 6 o'clock just like that. They will sometimes snooze, and they will come around 6:20, 6:30. They come a little bit late. She could have purchased her kid, they will look for a place to sit down. So we are not robots. We're trying to sometimes, everything is so robotic. Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 10. This mark, that mark, 90%, 100, I don't know. I haven't been beyond 2.5, no? Mine is actually Navalina, that's all I remember. But I educated myself. Again, see the power of the human mind. I was locked up in a small room. So instead of feeling sorry about myself, I used to miss my sister so much. Now, she used to study in Shimla, Convent of Jesus and Mary. She used to stay in her own hostel. And I used to love her because she's the only sibling I have. And she used to send me letters sometimes with a cute little handwriting. I still have them, so I kept them as my treasure. She used to say, Rinpoche, please send me chips, send me biscuits, send me jam also. Send me jam. मेरे पास खुद खाने के लिए नहीं इसको क्या लीजिए मैं खुद यहाँ टीचर से डंडा खा रहा हूँ टीचर की तरफ कुंफू खेल रहा हूँ my teacher was incredibly he's from my monk from Superman this is my monk from Superman he's a Ladakh from Ladakh he's just here for a few days so he remembers my teacher today they will tell you no he came to the monastery a little bit later I've been in the monastery 32 years. He came to the monastery now 21 years. He's seen some of the pain that we go through. My teacher used to beat me all the time. So what did I do? This is a slightly, not related to the topic, I'm just branched now. That's why I asked for the interactive. It triggers some story in my mind. It is very difficult because I'm not an lecturer. But so my teacher used to beat me almost every day. He used to give me one page of a scripture. And he used to tell me by evening you have to memorize it. Then we have to do rote memorization. You have to memorize. But because he used to beat me, because I was so miserable, because I was so fed with spiritual and bodhi and shows dharma, I thought I was blaming dharma. I thought it's because of the dharma that I'm stuck here. Really? मेरे पास एक थक्का था, नरोपा का थक्का. He's always going to forgive to me in 1992. When he gave Naropa teaching, I still have it. I used to scold Naropa. Thomas respect, he said, why did you, Then Naropa, of course, I'm directly related to Naropa. I cannot scold him, no. So I said, why did you send me here? What can I do? Then Manjushri, Jambian is too high. He's not there, Jambian. They say, he's with a sword like this, not Jambian, Manjushri. Jambian tries to scold. You have a sword, you're useless. Why did you cut off the head of my teacher? Why did you protect me? And I had Mahakala, Mahakala. 4 arms. You have 4 arms. You have a big belly. You look very strong. You're full of fire. You look like a Rakshas. You have this teeth, Why can't you bite my teacher? Why can't you help me? I feel like it's because of you all I'm stuck here. Seriously. It's true. I couldn't understand, sir. I had to process so much. Art knows how to make it bad, believe me, आप लोगों का ये तो गलत कुछ भी नहीं है. Then what to do? I had no outlet. I had to ask. I started permission to drink water. Whole day I used to drink my scripture. Teacher used to sit here, sometimes 2-3 hours. Read. Then even if I look a little bit like here, there to rest my eyes, he used to beat me. This is to train my eyes. Train my eyes. Training my eyes. You don't, kind of like meditation. I have to drink water, not taking my eyes off, okay? I don't want extra beating. So I said, can I have some water? Okay, we can drink. Just one sip. Otherwise you have to go to the washroom. Just one sip. I used to take such a long sip, so nice. Long sip. I used to swallow completely all the way down so my throat. And that became kind of mindful. I don't know, it's really very mindful. Even sipping one, glass of water in that tense environment, even sipping water, you will feel so happy, you have no idea. I don't want disco, I don't want music, I don't want non-veg, alcohol, drugs, nothing, money, nothing. I just wanted a sip of water. Even that, few seconds. And as to say, go down, again, start. You know what I mean? So it was very tiring. So when there was a teacher used to leave, so I used to say, remember the locals. Yes, comics. So I used to put comic under my pillow. I used to have a big pillow on which I put my scriptures. So I used to think that if I put my scriptures on the pillow, when I sleep, it will go extra into my brain. No? This is the right complete. This is extreme faith. No? We used to think, मैं अपना वो scripture को pillow के ऊपर रखूँगा, तकिए के ऊपर रखूँगा, तो रात मुझे फील एक दो शब्द को आ जाएगा, सो मैं वही करता था. So whenever I used to read, I used to put in the pillow. नीचे मेरा कॉमिक्स था, चाचा चौधरी, नागराज, सुब्रकमण्य ध्रुव, रामकेलाल, परमाणु, I used to form चित्रकथा. So teacher used to go and he used to keep my window open. वो नीचे जाता था उसको सुनाई देना चाहिए, तो फिर मेरी बहन बजी. He will beat me. When you go to Sopakma, you will see my room. वो जब Sopakma का break, हाँ बताओ ना, who has been to Sopakma? Sopakma सुन लेते ना. You know my Gopal, zero Gopal, right? Statue गुरु बुशी के statue के नीचे जो Gopal वो हमारा है, और statue को भी हमारे Gopal ने बनाया, हम लोग ने बनाया. और जो सुस्कोरा है ना सुस्कोरा, वहाँ से मेरी आवाज़ पहुँचनी चाहिए थी वहाँ तक. इतना जोर से चला, ऐसा लगता था कि मुझे कभी कोई डर लगता है कि माँ का राशि में एक ही होगा. क्या तुम्हें क्या कष्ट है? I had to speak that much. But then sometimes I used to take my comic out and read. चाचा चौधरी का दिमाग कंप्यूटर से भी तेज चलता है. जब भी साबू को गुस्सा आता है तो दूर का एक सवालों में फटता है ना, राका का कहर, राका और साबू का मुठभेड़, काबू का खजाना, आशवराज, नागराज के आने से पहले उनके सांप आते हैं, सुब्रकमण्य ध्रुव का इच्छा शक्ति, something Sweet, oh my God, I'm just in one point. That's how I went. The thing is, like, I never had a proper teacher. I used to have some teachers, English teacher, Hindi ko kabhi nahi tha. I used to argue with my teacher because I read so much. Sometimes I would try to teach my teacher. Aap gulti kar rahe ho. The teacher would say, okay, let's see. Yeah. So that's the capacity of the mind. पानी के घूंट would feel like an eternity. इतना राहत हो, इतना मेरे अंदर स्ट्रेस था, उसको कैसे मैंने चैनलाइज करके कॉमिक्स में डाला, टिंटिन में डाला, एस्ट्रिक्स में डाला, आर्ची कॉमिक्स में डाला, चाचा चौधरी में डाला. उसी की वजह से now I speak थोड़ा सा हिंदी, थोड़ा सा इंग्लिश. Because of that Hindi and English, I learned a little bit of computers. Dummies series की जो books आते हैं, dummies, Windows for dummies, this and that. यहाँ लद्दाख में आया था 1998 में, एक बार छुट्टी. To SIPA Business Center. Name है उसका कंप्यूटर का वो है SIPA. हाँ SIPA. I learned SIPA had a 6 महीने का कोर्स था. Because मैं सब कुछ पढ़ता था घर में, इतना कंप्यूटर वर्ल्ड, डिजिट मैगजीन, डमी सीरीज पढ़ के I knew exactly माउस कैसे चलाने. पेंट मैंने खुद सीखा. Solitaire, paint, all these things. MS DOS commands. So when I went to the course, 6 months of the course, I finished in 1 month. 5 months क्या करना? I was just relaxing. Somebody is to flirt with the girls. Then people are not some unteachable songs and unteachable songs. Just if I'll meet you, seriously. So these are my memories. So just giving sharing some extra stories to just thank you for your purpose.
As I have already told you that you are a very hot temper, it's a question of
I was not now. I'm very good. I'm not like Chopa, I'm like me right now.
So it's a question of my Thopa. How to control your temper while you are in a negative situation, and how to forgive people who intentionally or unintentionally hurted you. So these are my 2 questions for you.
Thank you so much. When you are happy, mind is, you have to understand anger. Yeah? Understand anger and understand forgiveness. Understand these kind of good qualities. You also have to understand how the mind functions. That's why we practice spiritualism. That is why you go to a mosque, mandir, you go to a gurdwara and you spend time alone in the presence of God. Because that gives you introspection. Introspection is very powerful. So introspect this. You have to understand how the mind functions. You see, अभी सब कुछ खुशी के माहौल में है. Right now, temperature is fine. ज़्यादा गर्मी नहीं है, ज़्यादा ठंडा नहीं है. वो उतना भूखा भी नहीं हो. आप लोगों ने लंच नहीं किया? किया ना? तो जिन्होंने लंच किया, solution, उनके पेट भरे, हमारे कुछ के पेट में चूहे दौड़ रहे होंगे. But right now, everything is kind of like a खुशी का माहौल. अभी तो मैं अगर आपको थोड़ा गाली भी दूंगा, आपको मैं if I do something negative towards you, आपको गुस्सा नहीं आएगा. Right now, your mind is in a state of being like water. पानी में आग कभी नहीं चलेगी, ठीक है? But then, when you have issues, when your mind is थोड़ा सा going towards negativity, bad habits, habits, bad memories, bad thoughts, you know, bad actions, bad speech, bad thoughts, right? Loose not in body, speech, and mind. When your body, speech, and mind is more or less always engaged in negativity, then your mind becomes like a dry wood. It becomes like a dry wood. Yeah? Sukhi lakdi. Then even if I look at you a little bit like this, you will not differently. You understand? है ना? अब उदाहरण दूंगा. For example, अभी आपको यहाँ से लेज पहुँचना है. आपके पास आधा घंटा ही है. You have so much hurry. You can Rinpoche ने बुलाया है. आधे घंटे में आपको पहुँचना ही है. Not 1 minute more. 4 o'clock, dot, you have to be there. You're driving very fast. You don't know. You know, whatever I'm calling you is for money, is for business, is for education, spirituality, you have to reach somewhere. You're driving a car. Then, like every car will feel like a mountain blocking your way. Every car will feel like it's you'll feel like everybody's driving slow. No, everybody's driving 100. You're driving 150. They are also trying to reach their destination. But your desperation is so much. Your mind that time is so constricted. It's like so dumpy that it's like a balloon. Small things will make you explode. That is one very important thing. That is why we practice meditation. This is surgery. We talked about it. Because when you meditate, it doesn't have to be a Buddhist meditation. Okay? Meditation can be so many different forms. If you are Hindu, if you are Muslim, if you are Christian, if you are non-Buddhist, you can just go to your mosque, you can go to your mandir, wherever you feel comfortable. Comfort is very important. You just sit there, and you just sit there, and there's so many different ways to do it, but you can just remember your God, remember your Allah, remember your Bhagwan, remember your Christ. Just be there. That will give you so much more blessings than me teaching Zabardasti one mantra. If you're a Buddhist, then of course you can do so many Omani Padme, there are different. Buddhists have a lot of tools. That is why in Buddhism we have sometimes we have more tools. So in the way I think sometimes it's slightly easier for us to practice. Stupa something. देखो कितने सारे मूर्ति हैं. पूरा लद्दाख मूर्ति और stupa से भरे. I think there's like more stupas than people in Ladakh. है ना? इतने सारे stupa कि उनको संभालना मुश्किल होगा. So Buddhism we have all these means, but it doesn't matter. Whatever religion that you belong, whether you're Muslim, Hindu, it doesn't matter. Important thing is you always observe, not control. Observe your body, speech, and mind. You cannot control your body, speech, and mind. अगर मैं आपको कहूँ, मेरा नाम क्या? अमजद. अगर मैं आपसे कहूँगा, मेरा नाम अमजद, बिल्कुल नहीं ना. 1 inch भी नहीं. Don't even blink. You will feel like मुझे blink ही करना है बस. मेरा नाम अमजद, जो भी करो, अपने कमर को घुमाना मत. आपका ध्यान बिल्कुल नहीं. इतना बड़ा ऐसा गया. जो हाथ से कभी नहीं पहुँचता ना, वही जाएगा. बीच में नहीं. जिसके लिए वो किसी और की जरूरत होती ना. आपका ध्यान वही जाएगा. सीरियसली. मैं कहूँ नो ऑब्जेक्ट तुम बैठो. तुम सब्जी के बारे में बिल्कुल मत सोचो. आपका मन पूरे सब्जी के बारे में सब्जी का हरा नहीं. Amazing with mind. So you cannot control your mind. You cannot control your body. कुछ भी सबको आता है, पसीना सबको आता है, प्यास सबको लगता है, भूख सबको लगता है. मानो. You cannot completely shut down. You cannot be like a statue. Meditation is not about being a statue. Meditation or spirituality in its very fundamental form is to observe how you're behaving physically, how you're behaving verbally, how you're behaving mentally. Loose, not in. Body, speech, mind. Just observe these three. जैसे चौकीदार बैठा ना, वो 3 जो दरवाजे हैं, गेट है, उसको देखता है, वो राउंड मारते रहता है. जागते रहो, है ना. 3 गेट है कम्युनिटी के अंदर आने में. वो 3 गेट को निरीक्षण करता है. He will keep, looking. He will observe. कौन आ रहा है, कौन जा रहा है. अच्छे लोग आए, ठीक है. आपका नाम क्या है, गाड़ी का नंबर क्या है, बांग्ला का नंबर क्या है, 42. नाम क्या है, चौधरी. आज चौधरी साहब मुझे चाहिए. आपका बांग्ला नंबर क्या है, 83. नाम क्या है, अमजद. चलो जाओ अमजद. ओके. गाड़ी का नंबर. That's like a chokidar. So your mind has to be like a chokidar of your body, speech, and mind. That's also mindfulness. So always look at what kind of soul vichar is coming into mind. And also, I want to share something very profound. Yeah? Mind is an incredible creator. Recently, when I was with last my friend, because he is very well versed in Islam. Okay? So he reads the, जैसे मैंने कहा 5 बार को नमाज philosophical discussion with them. And I always like to look at the commonality between religions. I don't like to look at what differs. हमारे बीच में अंतर क्या है? कौन हिजाब पहनता है, कौन दाढ़ी रखता है, कौन सर मुंडवाता है, कौन निकाल. I don't care about these things. I care more about what are the unifying principles in the religions. So with Nasir, we share so many stories. So Nasir always says, God is great, God is kind. Yeah, he always says. I say, Nasir, you are doing really well. He always appreciate God is kind. So in a way, you say God is kind, but in another way, you can think he's thanking something greater than him. He's thanking something that is intangible, right? So in Buddhism, we thank our karma. You understand the point? So good karma, when you're blessed with such beautiful children, with so much money, with so much, with big houses, with big cars, of course, it doesn't matter whether you think of your karma as a god or God as a karma. You understand? So I try to find this common thing. So I was saying to Nasir that mind is an incredible creator. Mind is the creation of everything. We went to a very nice hotel. Very nice. It was incredible. Yeah, hotel Conrad. It was not 5-star, it was like 10 stars. Even I was blown away. India में इतना खूबसूरत hotel है. We were having lunch. बैठने के लिए चलते तो अभी भी, बर्तन थोड़ा होता है. It must be very expensive. खाना खाया. Nasir sponsored everything, very kind. बहुत अच्छा था. लजीज था. I was looking at the building. It was so beautiful. Ceiling was like maybe 5 stories high. There was waterfall. It was like courtyard. You look like Pune Conrad Hotel restaurant. It's incredible. I was looking at this and I was saying I had a friend with me, Anand. And I said to Anand, Anandji, I said, everything is a creation of the mind. And Anand said, how? Because first, we conceive of something. We think we have to create a hotel. We have to build a hotel. We should construct Ladakh University of Ladakh. ठीक है. That's the thought. जी के मन में आया होगा, जो उनसे पहले किसी के मन में आया होगा, किसी लीडर के, किसी भी के आया होगा, they think like that. So पहले conception आता है ना, then उसके बाद क्या होता है? Meeting होता है. Meeting is not talking. So I said, Anandji, that time I was because maybe the place inspired me so much. I was becoming very philosophical. Anandji was enjoying his food. I don't know whether he wanted my teaching or not. I was कोई और था नहीं. यहाँ पर एक नासिक का छोटा लड़का था. I am beautiful guy. He was coughing, so he said, क्या philosophy is he's 9 years old. He already has his own small problems. No? He was also coughing. Anand is there. बेचारा आनंद तो सब कुछ सुनना पड़ा. So I said, Anand ji, mind is the creator of everything. He said, how? I said, first somebody must have thought, Conrad Hotel बनाना पड़ेगा, University of Ladakh बनाना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद आनंद जी, look at the process. What must have happened? Meetings हुआ. बिना meeting कौन करेगा? Without meeting who does? No. इतना बड़ा करोड़ों का होटल. एक ही झटके में पैसा ले लो, तेरे प्रोग्राम में आता पूरी खांसी कितनी खांसी कौन बनाएगा? No, meeting हुआ. What is meeting? And I said, Anand ji, meeting is the verbalization of ideas. Got it? I just said when I was making things up, I said meeting is the verbalization of ideas. है ना? बैठ के अपने विचारों को टेबल पे रखते हैं कि सर आपका ख्याल क्या है? मैं आपका ख्याल क्या है? लद्दाख यूनिवर्सिटी में कितने बिल्डिंग्स होनी चाहिए? 3 है, 4 है. यहाँ पर किस तरह की करने किस तरह के लोग, all these things. Then we have to put it into action. We think about it. Physically, you have to go to the land, you have to see the land, locate the land, you have to pay money physically, you have to sometimes, travel to the place, sometimes you have to work there yourself. So that's the unique way we humans function. Everything starts with the mind. Everything starts with the mind. So be very careful with the mind. So the mind starts thinking, then verbally you say something, then physically you perform something. Yeah? To do something big. Sometimes it goes directly from mind to the body, but the creation is always with the mind. Then to kind of not control, but to kind of force the mind to do good things, to go towards positivity. Let's just put it that way. I'm struggling for words. You have to start opposite. Physically, if you start creating good habits, then slowly it starts to have an effect on your mind. Physically, if you make an effort to get up maybe 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, if you come to the meeting, seminar, 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, physically, if you not force yourself, if you train yourself, slowly, small changes in the habit, then eventually actually your mind also becomes much more easy to handle. Then it becomes easy to handle anger. It becomes easy to handle patience. जैसे देखो ना, जब भी मैं गाड़ी चलाता हूँ, I don't drive that much in the car. I have my attendants. I'm very grateful to them. But when I'm in Delhi or other places, I drive myself. So whenever I drive, I have this promise to I have this habit I have formed. I never look at the car. मतलब जब गाड़ी चलाते हैं ना, कोई साइड नहीं दे रहा है, तो हम हॉर्न बजाते हैं. चलो भाई हॉर्न में साइड बना देने वाला. When you overthink, this is very bad habit. उसको क्या बात बोलना? दिल्ली में तो कभी मिलेंगे नहीं. इतना लोग खुद खोए हुए बेचारे. Everybody is lost. पता नहीं कहाँ पहुँचना है, क्या करना है, कहाँ हो, सदर बाजार में हो, चांदनी चौक में कहाँ पर हो. People have lost themselves. You never meet that person again, guaranteed. And Ladakh will come, you tell them, somebody is your friend. I decided I never look into a car. Even my attendants, when they drive, sometimes they really upset, we're late. And I tell them, don't look at the car. Don't look, just keep driving straight. You will never see that person. So that's an example of a good habit. Another good habit that I formed, especially because I had anger issues when I was younger, is that don't respond immediately. Don't react immediately. Yeah. हम क्या करते हैं? Usually reaction करते हैं मुझे. So मैंने आपको गाली दी. आपका घमंड, आपका जो अहंकार होता है, ईगो, अंदर शैतान की तरह होता है. वो बोलते हैं तुम जाओ तुम. Immediately you have to respond. Yes, we can count. उसको मुझे देने उसको दो दिया. क्या ऐसा मेरा? That's your ego. That is very destructive. हाँ. उसके विपरीत you have to listen to your cheta, your conscience. वो कहेगा बेटा शाम को जा मुझे तेरी पिटाई होने वाली है. चुप कर बेटा. हाँ प्रतिक्रिया से निकल दे. कोई तेरा वो नहीं हुआ है. एक तो गाली दे क्या हुआ? आजकल गाली से कौन मारे? हाँ. अपनी उसको धूप की तरफ निकल जा. Just चलता बने. That is your cheta, your vivek, your conscience. So listen to that more. So what I do is whenever I face a difficult situation, I don't react. Yeah, I wait for a few seconds. Yeah, boom, 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 and then I slowly respond. Either by leaving the room, not saying anything, or just changing the topic, because that person also has ego. No, his anger, her anger is coming from the ego. That time the ego is a big height. ऊंचाई पर होता है. ego को थोड़ा मसाज करना होता है. भैया कैसे देखो? When you say big पहलवान, you will not say that. You won't say that. Then you're dead. So when you say big पहलवान like Khali, The Rock, John Cena, then you look at him and you like, नहीं कोई बात नहीं, it's okay. No, you massage the ego. Anger is also like that. When somebody is talking to you from anger, that person's ego is like a पहलवान. So you look at that and you massage that पहलवान. नहीं कोई बात नहीं, sorry, गलती मेरी है. मैं बस रास्ते में राइट साइड पे चलाता नहीं, आप तो रॉन्ग साइड राइट साइड है, got it? Do it like that. So I always tell people, don't react, respond. Reaction is very simple, very basic. Response comes from intelligence. Reactions come from bad habits. It comes from ego. Response comes from cheta, conscience, intelligence.
First of all, we are very thankful for your visiting these students. Rinpoche, every time I watch the seminar of monks, I feel they are very serene and very calm when they speak. I'm a Muslim.
You see, I'm not seeing calm. I'm actually not.
But I feel that always when I used to watch.
What do you feel about me?
You are also very calm.
Yeah.
Very serene, and the calmness is reflected by
Thank you
this.
so much. Thank you.
So will you please suggest some few exercises, specific exercises, which you practiced at the monastery, so we will also be able to attain such calmness and serenity. Thank you so much.
What is your name?
Tawseef.
Tawseef. Okay. Thank you so much, Tawseef, brother, for your question. Listen, because I grew up in a monastery, and our training is slightly different than what we teach to the common person. The kind of training that I did, if I tell you to sit in a small room for 12 hours, like this, see, since I came already, immediately I took off my shoes. This is habit. it. Got it? Because I'm sitting with my legs in Padmasana, legs locked, literally, they're locked. I cannot move. Which means I avoid so much conflict just by moving outside. Sitting itself is such a profound practice. So maybe one practice that I can share to you that really helped me, that we practice in all the Gompas and monasteries, is sit. When you don't have important work, right? Of course you have to accomplish your tasks. Abhi jo kaam karne hote hain. But whenever you find free time, sit cross-legged. Don't lie down. आपको नींद आ जाएगा. Yeah, don't sit with the legs hanging down. पेट में थोड़ा ठंडा हो जाएगा. और मच्छर काटेंगे. Sit cross-legged. This is very nice. Padmasana. If you can sit in full Padmasana or Vajrasana, you sit like that. If you can sit in half, one leg on top, you sit like that. Just sit. कुछ नहीं करना आपको. Then you can read if you want to read a book. ठीक है. But if you just sit, and if you want to meditate, just sit and just be there. Just relax. Yeah. First, physically you will sit calm and relax like this. अभी क्या है ना, हमारा जो शरीर है इस ग्लास की तरह है, इस कांच की ग्लास की तरह है. तो अभी हम इधर जा रहे हैं, उधर जा रहे हैं, किसी से बात कर रहे हैं, है ना, किसी के साथ आंख मिला रहे हैं, किसी के साथ ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं, तो हम बिल्कुल हिलते रह रहे हैं. Have you noticed that all the Buddhas, like 99% of the Buddhas, unless it's a very unique deity, they're depicted sitting. Buddhas को कभी आपने ऐसा करते लिखा है? Have you ever seen the Buddhas like with one leg in the air, like yoga का जो होता है ना? Never you see, no. Buddhas have always seen. Even Guru Rinpoche, who's so powerful, he sits, one leg extended, but he still sits. Matara, she's very powerful. Even she sits. Sitting itself, that is a very big teaching. Vedana, sitting. Once you sit physically, your mind also sits. और इसके अंदर जितने भी धूल जो आपके your negative emotions, affecting emotions, all these emotions, worries, depression, वो भी आस्ते-आस्ते अपने आप बैठ जाएंगे. Yeah, but this is a practice. So just like practicing marathon, you know, if you want to do Ladakh marathon, you cannot run tomorrow. No? How can you go to Chokyoung tomorrow? You will die because you have no practice. Your cardiovascular health is very low. You can hardly run from here to the main road. How can you participate in Ladakh marathon? So, for example, to participate in Ladakh marathon, you have to run today maybe 10 meters, tomorrow 1 kilometer, you have to tomorrow 2 kilometers. ऐसे करते करते अभ्यास होता है, practice होती है, then you can run कर दूँगा, and you can run very long distance. And sitting is also like that. It takes practice. But practice can only happen if you do it. आज मेरी बात सुनी, कल यहाँ से करके यहाँ निकाल दिया, फिर क्या करें? Sit, no. कल आप समय निकाल के बैठो. Whatever faith you believe in, you want to read Quran, Gita, you want to read some Buddhist scriptures, Bible, just sit down and read. Whatever books you have to study, novel you're reading, do it while sitting down. This will slowly, settle your mind, your consciousness, your gross consciousness, your subtle consciousness. Sometimes your consciousness is at peak level, like right now we are awake. When you awake, everything is very visible, right? Everything is we are very aware. When you're sleepy, everything is very dull. So consciousness also fluctuates sometimes, consciousness. कभी-कभी बहुत hype पे होता है. When you wake up in the morning, after breakfast, you're completely awake, no? But then in the evening, around 10 o'clock, before going to sleep, when you have a nice bukhari, when you have a belly full of food, then your consciousness dims down. Then you feel drowsy. फिर तो पढ़ा भी नहीं जाता है, कुछ काम, you understand? So when you sit, all your consciousness, all the different, levels of the consciousness, you can call it, they all settle down. It becomes very calm. Then that calmness, you can see it in the face. You can feel it in the presence. That calmness. You're talking about our calmness, the calmness of a monk, calmness of a Rinpoche. Technically, I'm not a monk, but then you can feel because of years and years of this sitting. चाहे मैंने चाचा चौधरी पढ़ी हो, चाहे मुझे जुमा पढ़ा हो, it's because of sitting, no? अगर मैं क्रिकेट खेलते करते, है ना, बॉलिंग करते करते, बैटिंग करते करते, डांस करते करते अगर मैं पढ़ूंगा scriptures को, how can I read the scriptures? You understand? I will never have even a little bit of whatever knowledge that I have. So sitting is very important. Okay?
awareness madmusudha ta ni is kandi jutera it true samaha kazushiga bolji towards focus devotion for something important tiasana is stage program samana na doang Rinpoche junior executive alhamdulillah nga ngena itu medo nga dasang itu rak ngerang kompuyut kan I still remember sir it was just my junior और बहुत नोटी थे सर तो जब आप अभी बता रहे थे ना अच्छे नंगलामो ना पोंगा क्लासमेट ये नंगलामो मैं ज़्यादा नंगलामो ना दो रात पे और लंच भी हम साथ करते थे तो मेरा ये रिक्वेस्ट है रिम्पोचे
I hope I never stole your lunch.
वो बकरी के होते थे जो वो खा लेते थे तो एक रिक्वेस्ट है अब ये बच्चों के लिए हम अभी यूनिवर्सिटी में इस स्टेज पे बच्चों का माइंड हर तरफ दौड़ता है दे आर नॉट नेवर रिमेन ऑन अ फोकस टुवर्ड्स गॉड तो आप इस पे एक अगर प्रीच कर पाए तो इट इज वेरी इफेक्टिव फॉर एवरीवन क्योंकि ज़्यादातर इस स्टेज पे हर तरफ उनका दिमाग रहता है और एक तरफ वो फोकस नहीं रह पाता तो ये इतना इम्पोर्टेंट ये चीज़ मुझे दिख रहा है इस पे आप कुछ बता पाएँ थैंक यू
Pujichi, first of all, I just hope I've never caused you any harm. Because almost everybody there have a horror story to tell. Like, you stole my lunch, you hit me on the head with a brick, and I don't know, you threw some dust in my eyes, I gave you chewing gum, but you didn't give me the treat back. Something was like this over here. It's very nice to know that we share the same institution when you were young. I think we all can also remember the Chokyoung, the stories, right? So I have this very crazy memory, I can remember some details very well. With the youth these days, I would say, their condition, their situation is, I think, more complex than the youth of the past. Like, you remember when we were young, what distractions did we have? Nothing like, what distractions? It was usually our thoughts, sitting in the classroom, getting bored, wishing to go home, be with Abale, Amale, play with your, cows, dogs, right? Just, I don't know, eating some treats, or maybe play in the playground. That was all the distraction we had. We didn't have radio, we didn't have phone, we didn't have mobile phones. We had very little distraction. So a simple mind, I think sometimes it's also kind of something to aspire for, the simplicity. In the monasteries, we do that. When somebody leaves society and comes to the monastery, that person is coming towards non-distraction. Monasteries, actually, the name of a monastery is Gompa, but the actual name is Wenpa. Wenpa means seclusion, Shant Jaga. A monastery ideally should be constructed in a place that people from the village, if they shout at the top of their the sound should not reach. So that's the ideal place of a monastery. So like if you see my monastery Marjuni, have you been there? Please come, okay? You're welcome. Anybody, you're welcome to come to my humble monastery Marjuni. You can meet Chokyoung. Yeah, I'm sure you'll party too, but after you give me some Jimji Papa, we'll become your friends. When I founded my monastery, everybody said, why don't you do it in May? Chokyoung sir, you can also build a complex, hotel, so I said, but that's not the definition of a monastery. The definition of monastery is free from distraction, a secluded place. I did that. What I'm trying to say to you is like, coming from a monastic institution, I'm used to non-distractions, right? We already create our own distractions in our mind. We don't need something extra. But here the students are not living in a monastery. There are naturally more distractions than a monastery. So that's where their own self-discipline has to be practiced. You cannot enforce. कब तक उनके फोरम छुपा देंगे? कब तक उनके एक student के पीछे अगर जाएंगे तो I think there are like 40 faculty teachers, right? And how many students roughly? Roughly. How can you go? Right? Even if you go after like 10 students, it will be difficult. Plus you have to take care of yourself. So we cannot keep snatching away their phones. We cannot keep telling them to do this, do that. But what we can do is we can inspire them to touching themselves. So that's for that I would like to say a few words. I always tell any students, ask any student, whenever I meet any students, I ask one question. How many wings do birds have? Show us something. 2, right? You've never seen a 3-winged bird. You've never seen a 1-winged bird. You've always seen a bird with 2 wings. Likewise, in my opinion, with the limited knowledge and experience that I have, my observation is that in order to reach any goal in your life, when a bird migrates from the south to the north, when a black-necked crane flies all the way from Tibet to Ladakh and Ladakh to Bhutan and vice versa, migration, they do it with the help of 2 wings. Right? We can take an example like the great migratory birds reaching their goals using the 2 wings. We can take the same example of education and discipline. That is very important. Education, obviously the teachers will tell you. Discipline is about morality, it's about ethics. No. Ethics is what? So what is ethics? Ethics is basically what is acceptable, what is not acceptable in a given institution. Right? Lawyers have their own ethics. Doctors have their own ethics. Teachers have their own ethics. Honestly, we have our own unique ethics. Morality is slightly more deeper. Deva, Dikpa, is Janam, next Janam. You will go to hell. It's a heavy burden. So discipline, I think, is about being ethical and being moral. So if you can understand that, then it's like a bird with 2 wings. You will reach any destination, any goal that you have using these 2. For example, I gave the example of sitting, which was my discipline. Sitting was my discipline. Reading scriptures, reading Hindi, English was my education. With these 2, today I'm able to go to such lovely places like Kovileda and so many other places and interact with beautiful people like you. If I lacked discipline, I had knowledge, but I had no discipline, I'll be like a bird flapping with 1 wing. I'll keep circling in one place. I know so many intelligent people, 0 discipline. Half of them are they're tuned with the alcohol, they're tuned with the drugs. Again, we'll talk a little bit about it. They're tuned with bad habits, basically. What is it? Drugs is a distraction. Alcohol is a very, good distraction. It's a distraction. When you feel cold, you drink alcohol, enough rum, that your body heats up to distract your mind from the problem of the cold. I asked some students in Jammu, why do you take drugs? And they told me they take drugs because when exams come, they're so stressed. They haven't studied the whole, no discipline. Look in दस चू एक साल में जो 12 महीने हैं 10 महीने बिल्कुल स्टडी नहीं किया 2 महीने नोट्स ढूंढ के लोगों से भीख मांग के नोट्स ढूंढ के जो मैंने पास की उनका कॉपी करके इसी उम्मीद के साथ बैठे कि बोरे में जैसा आलू डालते हैं 2 महीने की क्रैक करते हैं क्रैक तो 2 महीने में अगर हम क्रैक करेंगे तो न्यूरॉन्स में कितना दिखेगा हमारे न्यूरॉन्स पैथोलॉजिकल उसमें कितना दिखेगा ये वैसे ही है जैसा जमीन पे दिखते हैं बाहर अगर आपके कैंपस में जाएंगे एक लड़के को लेकर जाइए लिखिए अपना नाम अमजद जिगमेत शज़ाम सिरिंग कल तक वो मिट चुका होगा या तो किसी के पैर पड़ने की वजह से या तो हवा की वजह से प्रकृति की वजह से लेकिन जो हम साल भर में थोड़ा करके सीखते हैं 12 महीने 10 महीने में सीखते हैं that writes into your neurons with discipline है ना जो ऐसे हम सीखते हैं ना that writes into your वो पत्थर की लकीर होती है वो चाहे हवा आए चाहे उसके ऊपर गाड़ी चले कोई पैर भी रखे वो मिटता नहीं there is a difference you need discipline and education both it's very important without these two wings you will not achieve any goal अब बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो भी मॉरल है एथिकल है मैं जानता हूँ सिंपल अच्छे मान के हैं एजुकेशन नहीं चाहते बस में उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिला एजुकेशन को वो करने के लिए परस्यू करने के लिए देयर गुड पीपल बट कहीं नहीं पहुंचते अभी भी लोगों का वहाँ घर में छोटे मोटे काम करते हैं पेट भरने के लिए परिवार का पेट भरने के लिए तो ये तो आप लोगों को डिसाइड करना ना you have to decide this yourself what do you want to do इसका दोस्तों नहीं नाचना दोस्तों मैं तो अपना शौक तुझसे खा सकता था सोचा आगे बैठ के मैं फंस गया यहाँ पे वो एग्जिट भी नहीं ना एक्चुअली दरवाजा होना चाहिए दिस इज माय आर्किटेक्ट वॉइस पीछे की आवाज होने जो जाना चाहते बेचारे जो ये इसको सुनना नहीं चाहते एनीवे सो क्या करते भूल गए this you have to decide yourself what do you want to be in the future do you really want to देखिए ना जैसे मैंने अभी कहा 15-20 साल तो we you know like 15-20 years more than 20-30 years we spent learning how to walk learning how to eat learning how to breathe properly learning how not to kill yourself. You know what? अगर छोटे बच्चे को देखें ना, वो कहाँ जाते हैं? सीधा वो हीटर की तरफ जाएगा, सीधा वो बुखार की तरफ जाते हैं. You know, सीधा वो चौक से लोग कोना है ना, वो कभी अपने ध्यान नहीं देगा. अगर एक छोटा बच्चे को रखेंगे ना, वो सीधा कोने पर ही जाएगा. वो हमेशा कोने पर ही बैठे कैसे करते? आ जाते. कितना मैं अपने सर को कोने पे मारूँ. तो जीना वंश है. तो we spent few years surviving. We spent few years learning how to read basic things, writing basic things. Then we spent a few more years, until 30 years, we spent educating ourselves. After 30, maybe roughly like that. How many years do we have left? फिर नौकरी भी ढूंढना है. कितना मुश्किल है ना? It is not entirely a straightforward process. नौकरी ढूंढना भी is a very political process these days, unfortunately. इतने सारे मुद्दों में वो उलझ जाता है. Everything is politicized. Religion gets politicized. Women's right gets politicized. Education gets politicized. साफ पानी becomes politicized, गंदा पानी becomes politicized, everything becomes politicized. उसके बीच में रुक के मुश्किल से 35-40 तक की जॉब मिलता है. तब कब तक काम करेंगे? 60 तक 20 साल ही है. 20 साल में भी दुनिया देखी देखो. काम करो जब पास हो जाता है ना वो बोलता तो जाता सोचो समझो. हमारे लद्दाख में ना सर we are blessed with so many things, we are cursed with so many things. We have very funny traditions. Sometimes even I don't know why people are कहाँ थे यहाँ पर थे किस लिए थे दादा दूध था बच्चे के साथ बच्चा बड़ा हो चुका है गाड़ी वाड़ी रखा है कुछ लोग शादी भी करने वाले हैं you know बच्चा को बाप करने वाला है उसके साथ उसके जन्म आने के पता नहीं आपको प्लीज डोंट check and this is causing me sadness you know इतने सारे हमारे लोग होते हैं रीति रिवाज you know तो 40 से लेकर 60 तक 10 साल को उसी में चला जाता है कम से कम दूध का रास्ता बर्थडे आप बर्थडे भी देखिए ना कभी मैं सोचता हूँ कुछ लोग साल में 3-4 बार पैदा हुए होंगे. अरे यार कल ही आपका बर्थडे था, आप किसका बर्थडे? मान छोटे बर्थडे, छोटे बर्थडे, मान है छोटे बर्थडे. यार मैं पेंगो रुकोला दिल्ली गोवा. How much time do we have? इसी को लेकर ये भी जानना जरूरी है. How free are we? अभी देखिए कुछ लोगों को उबासी आ रही होगी. Some people must be a little bit drowsy. because यहाँ पर एयर का सर्कुलेशन उतना अच्छी नहीं है. थोड़ा सा गर्मी भी लग रहा होगा. थोड़ा सा बोर भी हो रहा होगा कुछ लोग. So they must be free. They don't know. Automatically, your mind, you're telling your mind, need not so. But your body is telling you to so. सुना पड़ता है ना? You know, अगर आपको बहुत की तरह सुनता है, तो पानी पीना ही पड़ता है. है ना? अगर काम करके, you know, if you are feeling hungry, अगर आपको भूख लगता है, आपको किचन की ओर जाना ही पड़ेगा. You know, अगर थके हुए हो, आपको सोना ही पड़ेगा. सो के अगर आराम मिला है, आपको उठना ही पड़ेगा. कोई आपको थोड़ा ऐसा you know टोकते रहता है थोड़ा झूठ उसमें मारना ही पड़ेगा जवाब देना ही पड़ेगा. How free are we? सांस अंदर है बाहर करना ही पड़ेगा. अंदर आने के लिए फिर जयराम जी you know how free are we? आप पढ़ के ऐसे हम की फिर खोलना पड़ता है खोल के रखेंगे फिर बात करना पड़ता है. You know बैठे कुछ नहीं करते कितना फ्रीडम है हमारे पास. We're not very free here. We've created this mind is crazy, this world is crazy, amazing. We fool ourselves. We create such amazing things. For example, I have this very funny idea. Thought when Valentine comes, no, because there are lots of young people. When Valentine comes, February का जो कुछ लोग अभी से तैयारियां कर रहे होंगे. The poems, है ना. Dears, saying आपके बिना ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता. When Valentine comes, you say to somebody, or when you meet somebody you love, your father, your mother, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. Even your dog. Even when I tell Choco, I love you. I've always said I love you to his eyes and his nose. That's it. I've never said Choco, I love you to his paws, to his back. वो भी Choco का तो शरीर का भाग है ना. When you tell somebody that you love them, so easy to the mind. How much are you acknowledging them? Maybe 2% of the overall body. No. कभी कमर को देखे कहा, I love you. नहीं कहा. कभी मान कटी. कभी आप एडी को कहा. I love you. I'm just recognize you? How should I acknowledge you? If you think about that, बैठ के भैया, देखिए बैठ के ये सारे सोच विचार आते हैं. The mind is amazing. How it can fool itself, how limited it is, how powerful it is, how free it is sometimes, how enslaved the mind is. Seriously. So like that, you use your mind's power to create good habits, to maintain discipline, and you ask yourself, what you want to become in the future? Do you want to do Jaru Pancha? Do you want to do local karna? You know, वो करना तो ठीक है, आपको कुछ नहीं करना है बस. Stop studying, start doing harmful things. आप वही काम नहीं मारोगे, I'll guarantee you. अभी अपना देश इतना विकास कर चुका है. लद्दाख में भी देखो, भूखा तो कोई नहीं सोता होगा. भूखा या बिना कपड़े के, बिना मकान के तो कोई नहीं सोता होगा. गरीब से गरीब आदमी के पास भी मकान है, खाने पीने के लिए चीज है. लेकिन जिंदगी में मेरे काश में कुछ उसकी जो उपलब्धि थी, उसकी कुछ आशाएं थी, ना, उसके कुछ some dreams, उसके कुछ सपने थे, वो पूरे नहीं हुए ना. उसने सोचा कि मैं चाहूँ तो हासिल कर रहा हूँ, मुश्किल से हाथ में पत्थर आ रहा है. You have to decide right now you have to very critical juncture. हमें मत देखो, we have already gone past this junction. सुन लो कितना एक रास्ता उस तरफ जाता है, एक रास्ता इस तरफ जाता है. We have crossed that, man has crossed that, I have crossed that, Sir has crossed that. You who are studying here, you are approaching that junction. Yeah? You will soon have to make a decision where you want to go. Think, look at the world, learn from other people, talk to people, ask them what dreams did you have when you were studying, when you were young, when you went to Chandigarh, Delhi, Jammu, but all you did, when you went to all these big universities, but all you did was you slept, you didn't do anything, you took drugs, you had buri sangat, bad company, you looked at people's attractiveness instead of their discipline, their character, their personality. And obviously, जैसे लोगों के साथ रहते हो उतना अपना personality हो जाता है. I live in Chokyoung meaning. I sometimes talk like Chokyoung meaning. She talks about Chokyoung Bahara. I listen to podcasts and sometimes I go podcasts. So sometimes I listen to podcasts and something like, oh, this is happening, that is, and I'm talking to Chokyoung, this is happening, that is happening. So with company, you also become like that. So if you're a good company, intelligent company, esteemed, honorable company, like sir, like ma'am, you have to look after them, you have to look up to them. They will never give you any wrong information. Why should they? You're not their competitors, no. आप लोग कौन सा आपका कि you will take their positions? उनका डर इनको बिल्कुल नहीं है. They will actually be happy if you can one day, take their positions, become responsible citizen, become responsible, member of the public. Listen to them, no? I don't know. I mean, we have so many facilities. Sometimes you have too many facilities, too many choices. Economics, art, international relations, पता नहीं क्या political science. मुझे तो पता नहीं half of the things you study. When my sister sometimes when she used to prepare for her papers, I used to take some of her books. She knows everything from I learned about barometer. The principle of creating a barometer. By reading one page of her book, I just looked. I was amazing. She knows how to make a barometer. मुझे तो उसी वक्त पढ़ के पता चला. You have sometimes overburdened with too many choices. But always listen to your heart. Okay? Always listen to your heart. कभी-कभी हम कहते हैं कि what decision should I make? People ask me. दिमाग की सुनी दिल की सुनी. मैं कहता हूँ हमेशा दिल की सुनी. बाद में रिग्रेट कम से कम नहीं होता. लोगों की थोड़ा कम सुनो. जिन लोगों के सुनने हैं कान दोनों खुल के सुनो. इस कान से भी सुनो, इस कान से भी सुनो. दोनों तरफ से सुनेंगे अंदर एक ही जगह जाएगा बुद्धि या दिल. अगर एक ही कान से सुनेंगे बाहर निकल जाता है. एक ही कान से सुनते रहेंगे तो आपको पता चल मेरा ज्ञान तो सर है तो सुन लेते, मैडम जी सुन लेते, रिपोर्ट ये सुन लेते. इससे सुनो एक खतरा है. ज्यादातर लोगों का दिमाग खाली होता है. 24 तरह की सुनने की आदत होती है. यहाँ से सुनते दिमाग खाली होने की वजह से यहाँ से निकल जाते हैं. रहेगा कुछ नहीं है, इसलिए भेजा खाली होता है. दोनों कान से सुनो. उसको ऊपर ले जाओ, सीधा नीचे मत ले जाओ, ऊपर ले जाओ, थोड़ा घुमाओ. अपने भेजा नाम की चीज होती है, उसको भी कभी इस्तेमाल करो. ये रील, इंस्टाग्राम, यूट्यूब को देखकर आप उसका वो क्या कहते हैं बर्तन मत बनाओ. थोड़ा ऊपर ले जाओ. इनपुट, थोस्पा, हियरिंग, समपा, कंटेम्पलेशन, है ना, गोम्पा, एप्लीकेशन. फिर उसके बाद नीचे ले जाओ. हमारी कमी है सुन के सीधा दिल में ले जाते हैं या तो इस काम से सुन के उस काम से निकाल देते हैं, है ना? So this is very important. You can apply these monastic principles: hearing, contemplating, and applying. सुनना, विचार करना और उसको apply करना, action में लेके आना. Yeah, Tospa, Sampa, Gompa, Tosam Gomsum. So much more things to talk about. Are we good with time? Should we wrap up? I don't know, you guys decide. आज मेरे जो खत्म होते चलते हैं। Some of this world is
Thank you so much. For his eminence, like so Ladakh, keep conducting many activities, programs, and program activities in the university. As a part of this activity, like recently they have conducted 14 days underwater training on solar lamp and LED bulb making training in the university. So today, those students has completed 14 days training, and we want to take this beautiful opportunity. This occasion is an opportunity to distribute the certificates among the participants. So for that, I would like to request Ms. Rizin Dolma from the Entrepreneur Training Cell to please come here and conduct the proceedings.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected His Eminence, the 8th Chokyoung Rinpoche, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ladakh, Professor S.K. Mehta, deans, faculty members, and their students. It's a pleasure to stand before you today to give a brief about the 2 weeks entrepreneurial training program for the ST community of Ladakh to produce solar lanterns and LED bulb for the lighting applications, which was started on 14th October at University of Ladakh. This has been a meaningful journey, one of growth, learning, and shared purpose. I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Vice Chancellor Professor S.K. Mehta, whose vision of a more sustainable future has played a huge role in bringing this project to life. I would also like to thank Dr. Mohammed Rafi, the principal investigator of this project. Your dedications and commitment have provided invaluable guidance to both the trainees and our team. Without your leadership, none of this would have been possible. I'm pleased to share that we received an overwhelming response to this program, with 75 applicants showing interest. After a careful selection process, we shortlisted 35 dedicated trainees who participated in this intensive training. So throughout these 2 weeks, we have covered many practical skills, from understanding the basics of solar technology to assembling and testing solar lanterns and LED bulb. In addition to our core session, we invited guest lecturers who are experts in fields like entrepreneurship, marketing, and communication. For those who are interested in starting their own cottage industry or small startup, this program has laid the groundwork. Even if entrepreneurship is not their path, the skills they have acquired will allow them to repair solar lanterns and LED bulb, which leads to co-saving, contributing to environmental sustainability, and also bring a new level of accessibility and self-reliance to Ladakh. So during this training, each one of our trainees has approached the task with enthusiasm, asking insightful questions and working with focus. I feel confident that each one of our trainees now possesses knowledge and skills needed to produce their own solar lanterns and bulb. These abilities will serve them well, empowering them to bring light and innovation into the communities. Now we come to a special moment, the distribution of certificates to the trainees. I would like to invite His Eminence, the 8th Chokyoung Rinpoche, to present their certificates to our trainees. Trainees, please come forward as your name is called to receive the certificate. Sona Mango. Nusrat Fatima. Sonam Chuse, Kunso Kamgyal, Jigmet Siri, Vimana Pardu, Stanzin Dolma, Jigmet Namo, Tohira Banu, Husnia Banu, Fibullah, Nargis Banu, thank you, Rinpoche. Now I would like to request Vice Chancellor Professor S.K. Mehta to join us for this honor. Sir, please. Stanzin Hagar, Ashraf Ali, Mumtaz Ali, Mohammad Hussain, Stanzin Palga, Stanzin Abdu, Stanzin Paljun, Jigmet Richard, Chokyoung, Hassan, Sriram Gurgu, Stanzin Jimba, Jigmet Namgyal, Nargis Banu, Sati Galini. At last, I would say, please remember that this training is just the beginning. Don't let this to be the last step of your journey. Keep growing, keep learning, and continue to make a difference. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I forgot to mention that the First Lady of UT Ladakh has sent a sweet, Diwali sweet for all the trainers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ritzi. So with this, I would like to thank His Eminence Palga Rinpoche on behalf of the Honorable Vice Chancellor and on behalf